Not make sure I'm not too blown out, you know, because that kind of thing happens. Yeah. I think that's much better. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Hopefully the microphone is not too blown out. About 30 seconds in. Let's see if anybody comes in. What is it? Saturday morning in the U.S. right now. Saturday night here in Japan. We got one like, one person in the building. Shouts out to you. Let me know if my microphone is loud and clear. Let me know if you can hear me. Good morning. Good morning. If you know, you know, man. It's always good to see you up in the building. What is up? What is it, Saturday for you out there now? Saturday morning? How is life treating you? Doing something different today, man. I'm going with a Gordo, man. I rarely ever smoke cigars this large. And I don't know. I really don't know how it's gonna go with this cigar because it's been in my humidor. The humidor RH and temp has been going up and down. It's been a battle. I finally got it, so it's resting at about 68, 69, somewhere in there. And I let this one kind of sit out for a little bit. It didn't quite get a real dry box, so I don't know what this cigar is gonna like. It feels kind of soft, clean and clear. That's what's up. Saturday 7 a.m. It's bright and early for y'all. I don't know who's gonna join in right now. It's super bright and early, but we're gonna see. Hopefully, people are gonna enjoy their morning cigar with the homeboy. Chill out. It's Saturday night here, almost Sunday morning, and I've had a rough ass day. Today sucked, man. Today was one of those days where you just gotta kind of chalk it up to like, yo, sometimes shit just don't go your way. It's not gonna be smooth. It was so crazy that I almost got into a fight on the train today going to Yokohama, and I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. But it's funny, man, because I'm just not a violent person, but I almost threw down today. It was about to be one. It wasn't like super crazy. It was just personal. Sometimes people just try to do shit that just cross the line, and then you got to show your other side. But before I get into throwing hands and this weird Japanese culture, I want to light up this 146 cosecha, coseca. Y'all let me know if I'm pronouncing it right. Coseca, cosecha. I'm horrible with the Spanish pronunciation of things, so y'all just gotta bear with me. I was just talking to DJ from Pig Jimmy, and he lit up the 149, and I have like several of these cigars, and I've yet to light either of them. Part of the reason why I haven't lit them is because I'm kind of like whatever on Honduran tobacco, even though placencia is kind of changing that a little bit. And the reason why I'm kind of whatever on Honduran tobacco, it's not because of Honduran tobacco. I really got to be real. It's because of Alec Bradley. And that's what really did it. Leave us not to kid ourselves, right? Because there's some brands that have been doing the Honduran tobaccos and really been doing it right and making the Honduran tobaccos taste really good. And with the Honduran, like you get a lot of earthiness sometimes, right? But sometimes you can get that milk chocolate, you can get that creaminess in there, you can get the mushroom umami flavors. Sometimes they have a little bit of citrus depending on which leaves they're using. So who am I to really be biased towards one leaf? That's not really a good thing. And honestly, placencia really has some really balanced and rich flavors, man. And like I said in my last review, that if your cigar starts off really good, then usually you're gonna have a really good cigar. This one is starting off really good already. Nice and woody, it's smooth, getting a little bit of the citrus already at the top. I can tell there's gonna be some leather developing in there. That's a nice leaf already. What are y'all smoking? Have y'all lit up anything this morning? You drinking coffee? I know it's early where y'all are. Kind of let me know what the vibe is, man, because if I'm kind of off right now, y'all gotta excuse me, man. It's like I really just wanted to come up and chop it up. Hopefully y'all have some questions. Hopefully y'all have something to go on. Smoke a really good cigar. Smoke one of my best. Y'all know the drill. You don't just smoke your wax cigars and save all your good cigars. You smoke your good cigars, especially when you've been having a difficult day. Shit's been kind of stressful, troublesome. You just want to unwind and kind of hang out with some people. First things first, in order to travel around in Japan, there's a, it's like if you guys live in New York, y'all know what it's like in New York. You got to have the Metro Pass, right? Your Metro Pass is your everything. That's the thing that gets you on all the trains, take you from the east side to the west side, you know, going from Midtown, crossing over into Brooklyn and all that. Like, shouts out for hitting that like button, y'all. Your Metro Pass is your everything. So when you're in Japan, the same thing is with Suica, and Suica actually means watermelon in Japanese. There's your Suica Pass and your Passmo. For my area, it's Passmo. My father-in-law came in from the west coast of the U.S. to stay with us for about 2 weeks. So in order for him to get around, go to Kamakura, go to Tokyo, whatever, I gave him my Passmo. And that's like my lifeblood. It's like my car and my Passmo. So I gave him my Passmo so he could get around and do his thing. And he took my Passmo back to the United States. So I didn't have a way to travel around. And I promised my homegirl, I'm gonna get to your comments in just a second. I promised my homegirl that I was gonna come see her in Yokohama for the weekend, and I hadn't seen her in a while. We hadn't talked, we haven't had any conversations. So I was like, yo, I promise I'm gonna come through. I haven't seen you, I haven't chilled out with you. We're gonna get some good food, kick it at your new place, da 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 da. And I don't have my card. So in order to get a new card, I need my passport. There's a shortage in Japan because the yen has gone so low on these Passmo cards. I'm not aware of this. So anyway, I go get my passport, look all over the house. I can't find my passport. So my kid's passport, my passport is lost. So now my homegirl is waiting for me. She bought food and everything, and I'm still in my city. She's still in her city, and I can't get there yet. So I'm tearing my house up. Like, I'm pulling out drawers, I'm pulling out old papers, I'm pulling out everything that I hadn't seen before. Losing your passport is like your child being lost. You know how, like, when somebody lose their kid in the mall or something, you can see the panic just go over them. Like, they just go white. Like, with my dark ass skin, I was white. Like, I was shook. This is my passport. I'm in Japan, yo, and I don't have my passport. So I'm panicking. And just luckily I get this memory that I left my passport in my wife's car. Go out and check for it. It's there. Whew. I can kind of breathe for a moment. Like, okay, everything is all right. But I still got to get to where I'm going. Oh, you had a similar scare in Dubai? Yo, that joint, your heart just, like, you can feel the panic. It's like with those movies, like when the walls are closing in on you. That's what it feels like when you lose your passport, yo. Kendall, what up, man? And it's one of those things like So I'm gonna pause right there. Like we finally, like I finally get my passport. I finally get to the train. I missed my first train. Get the train. I'm running late. I'm shooting my homegirl. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna catch up with you. I'm gonna be there in a minute. So let's pause the story right there. Somebody Matos had a comment about the placencia. He said, "Good morning. I bought a box of the placencia 146 cosecha myself after smoking both of them, the 146 and the 149. Placencia is a new padron. Their cigars are always consistent, excellent construction draw. You use Patron though, the Padron, like you trying to be funny with that one. They not Padron. These cigars actually got flavor. Good. That was good though. That's funny. So Jerome, I'm smoking on the Placencia 146 right now. Like my light is really bright right now, so like it's bouncing off that. You can't really see the 146, but that's what we got. Yeah, mine was that was a false alarm, man. I'm glad you got your passport too, so that's all good. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, like Alma Fuerte, because Jerome was asking, does this compare to the Alma Fuerte? Alma Fuerte is my favorite out of Placencia. That's like it's gonna be hard to beat for all the Placencias that I've smoked. The Colorado, like that Maduro Alma Fuerte is my baby. Whether it's the six toe or if it's the Salomon, I love that cigar. So it's gonna be hard to top. But I hear the 149 is really good. I haven't smoked the 149 yet, so we're gonna find out. So I haven't had the tea yet, man, because I was out and about. But tomorrow, I'm doing a really cool show, Kendall. So hopefully, I'm gonna have the tea on the show because that was my goal to do the show. It's gonna be a pairing. It's gonna be kind of a big deal. So I think it's gonna be Monday your time when that comes out. So give me a sec on that tea. I'm super excited to enjoy that though. But I think when y'all see this show that I've been working on for a while, I finally got everything I need. I got this tea that Kendall has sent me that I'm really excited about. And I have a cigar from Steve Saka that I've been holding on to for quite some time. And I'm gonna do a little something special with this review. So hopefully y'all put a lot of effort into the show. Hopefully I don't ruin it, but we'll see what happens. So we said Placencia Alma de Fuego, also amazing. I do like that one. That's a spicier blend. I'm cool with the spicy blends. If you guys saw from my last review, I'm okay with the spicy blends. So why spend so much for a Padron? You can get better as for $10 or less. That's what y'all know why I made that video. Y'all know I've been trying to say that for a while. I would go to Foundation and Placencia over Padron any day. So Sam said, hello from Spain. Love the channel. Appreciate you showing the love, man. I love when y'all show up and comment, man. It makes my day. Been waiting for content been watching your content since day one. Word. Hey, man. That right there means a lot, yo. When I see that people have been rocking with me from when I came on, when I had no subscribers, 200 subscribers, 500 subscribers, 20 shows under my belt or whatever the case may be, it means a lot that y'all have been kicking it this long. I can't say how much that means to me, man. That's dope. Like you said, that's the only Placencia he smoked. What was that? The Alma Fuerte? Trust me, it's some the Reserva is really good and it's super affordable. There's one that used to be only a European release. What is it, like 18? It's a number. It's like 1890, 18 something, 1895, something like that. That is really good. A lot of caramel notes, some raisin notes in that one. It's a really good cigar. The Colorado is amazing. These cosechas are really good. So dig into Placencia, man. There's some really good cigars out of Placencia. I just stay away personally, excuse me, guys, from that Zodiac blend. So Sam wanted to ask, what are your 3 desert island cigars of all time? That's funny because we were just really talking about this on the New Wave not too long ago. It's nice and it's like a waxy nut. That's not walnut. What is that? And that citrusy note. That's really good. Sorry about that. I had to pause for a second. Right now, like for me to answer your question, Sam, my number one cigar of all is the Shark. Everybody could probably just like typing that in right now. Everybody knows that I the Shark is my number one favorite. I'm gonna have that with me. Uh, I think second of all, right now would probably be the Micarita, and any honestly, it could be either one. It could be the black, uh, the red, or the blue. I love Micarita, and it's one of those cigars that's like consistent for me that I just feel like it's so well balanced and it's not too strong, it's not too weak. It just kind of gives you all the flavor components. I would probably stick with that one on a regular basis. Um, what would I follow those two up with? Hmm. It might be a surprise to y'all, especially after I was just talking junk a moment ago uh, about Alec Bradley, but Alec and Bradley's Kintsugi. I would probably go with that one. It's really hard because there's so many cigars that I love. That's a really tough one to do. Um, but I think that would kind of cover all the spectrums that I need. I think that would do it. My man said Godzilla coming. Yo, with the way my day was going today, Godzilla might show up and just scream and like blow fire and blow my head off, man. Today sucked, bro. Uh, he said the F. I never can pronounce that. What is the special joint edition of placencia they did for Qatar World Cup weren't worth the 600. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know at that cost. I wouldn't know that is outside of my realm. That's for somebody else. You know, anything really above $30 is almost like forget about it for me, man. You said the Tricky Tracker is his favorite. I can't really blame you, man. I absolutely like. Y'all know I kind of go hard uh, for soccer and his whole portfolio. But really, Mikarita is kind of like my comfort zone. So I'm not mad at you at all for that one. I love that whole line, man. It's phenomenal. So if you know, you know says I was recommended Romeo and Juliet the cigars. What are your thoughts on that? I'm gonna give you my true opinion on that. I really don't smoke those cigars, honestly. Like a lot of those from like Altadis and General Cigars, and those big brands and those brands that are just kind of going off the Cuban name. All these like Cohiba and Romeo and Julieta, Monte Cristo. I really don't smoke a lot of those cigars. I'm not really a big fan of them. We were talking about it on the new wave recently, like a lot of the cigars that you can kind of get to get people involved in, and people really like that Romeo Julieta. It's kind of like a mild cigar that's supposed to have a lot of flavor. It's just never turned me on. And but part of that is a little bit of bias on my end, just because it's one of those things that's kind of like what I started out with. And I would leave the butcher shop and go sit with my friends. We would just hang out and smoke cigars after a long day at work. You know, they were kind of like hype about Romeo and Julieta just because that name had so much of cachet. Because of just the whole connection to Cuban cigars and things like that. And once I learned that like the tomfoolery that was going on, and these not connected to Cubans at all, like my palate was really turned off to them. I wasn't really like super impressed anyway, but yeah. If I remember correct, it's the Envy, the green one, because I kind of get the Envy for Romeo and Julieta and the Excalibur mixed up. I smoked those around the same time. Um, and I wasn't like the hugest fan either. They were okay. So not worth the $75 for the Qatar edition. Very good, but buy yourself 3 to 4 placencia and found exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't do that, man. It's just I'm just not interested in that. That whole line just wasn't okay. So it was the green one. Okay. Um, yeah, man, I'm just not really interested in those cigars that are like, oh, this is a special edition for this special event, and we're gonna charge you, you know, upwards of $100 for this cigar. I'm just like, it's not for me, man. It's too many cigars that you can get within a reasonable price range that is really gonna be worthwhile, and it's really gonna be an enjoyable smoke. When we were talking about like being on that desert island, And having um, being on a desert island and having like a cigar that's really gonna work for you. I pick those cigars because like when I'm going through my humidor, like it honestly it takes work for me not to smoke all of my micaritas. Like I gotta be like, okay, I'm gonna smoke something different today. Um, and I'm kind of getting like that with Lampert cigars. I'm kind of getting like that with Principal. Um, I'm like that with Foundation and a lot of John Hubert cigars too. So like just being able to have those certain cigars that you go to that you know every time you light them up, it's gonna like trigger your synapses and it's gonna trigger that dopamine and you're gonna like enjoy it every time. You know that's a big deal for me. Just feeling like I gotta go out and get a limited edition or I'm trying to smoke this cigar that's a specialty cigar for some special event, especially if it's super high price. It's not really gonna move me at all. Peter, what up, man? Wait, what are you saying? Give you the unicorn for? Like, are you saying that for your desert island cigar? Yo, I want the unicorn so bad because I love that Batola, but I'm just nah. So Devin said, never smoked a Tatuaje. What would you suggest I try? Oh, so Tatuaje. That's a good question. Mm. The Tatuaje, it's the red label. I think it's the number 6. If I'm correct, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I think it's the number 6. That's probably the first Tatuaje I had that I fell in love with. The black label was really good. I love the Drac. If you can get your hands on that, the Drac was really good. Tatuaje for me has been somewhat hit or miss. I think Pete does a good job, um, but it's certain times with Tatuaje I feel kind of bored. Um, but that that Tatuaje number 6 was like phenomenal. I really enjoyed that, man. So hopefully I helped out and gave some good recommendations. Y'all throw some recommendations for who said that could that Matos, yo, that cigar, yeah, that cigar was phenomenal. Honestly, that might be my favorite Tatuaje. I think the one I had was the 2012 though, and that 2012 was killing. So Justin is up in here. What up, EKB? What up, Justin? I always seem to stumble into the middle of these lives. Now, you're pretty early in this live, man. I ain't even really got busy. I just kind of got into the questions so far, man, and just the comments, man. When everybody comes in here, people show so much love, and it really kind of makes these lives easy because I'm just chopping it up. So you didn't miss much right now. We just talking cigars and chilling. I wish I had checked in earlier. I just finished the morning coffee and a Cavalier limited edition 2022. So, Justin, what did you think about that limited edition, man? I want to hear what you got to say before I give my opinion on that. How do you spell that? A Drac? I think it's DRAC because it kind of the Tatuaje Jerome came from that monster line. So he just recently did the Drac redo. So he did another version of that. I think he's kind of redoing like a lot of the monster lines that he had, like the face and Jason. I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but I know the Drac was given to me by Michael Prisdale, and I really enjoyed that cigar. So it's like Dracula. Peter said the Drac is the only one that you like. Hey, I can't even be mad at you, dude, because for me, he's kind of hit and miss. But if you get a chance to try that Kajonu, or Kahonu, however you pronounce that, try that cigar out, man. The one I had was a 2012, and it was outstanding. It really was probably my favorite. And that red label one, um, I really, really enjoyed that. I hope I helped out answering that question. So you said you like the 2022 with coffee and it was nice and mild. Like I literally just smoked that cigar. If it wasn't the day before yesterday, it was. Yeah, I think it was the day before yesterday. And to be honest with you, man, I was kind of disappointed. And I love Cavalier. I think the flavors were kind of there, but I didn't like the draw on the cigar. The burn was all over the place. It was a funky ass burn. I'm trying to keep this big moist ass cigar lit, so bear with me. I didn't really like the burn, and I'm rarely ever let down by Cavalier. Like every now, I would say like maybe one out of four cigars might be like a little funky, and this was one of those that was just like really funky, and I was kind of chalking it up to it being that limited edition because I never had that problem with the black. I never had that problem with the Viso Jalapa. I never had the problem with the white. So he said it wasn't your favorite. So no, I kind of understand. I thought I was kind of tripping out, man. But I think somebody from the new wave had it and they really enjoyed it. And it's one of those that just kind of disappointed me a little bit. So Matos, you said that the gold foil diamond threw you off a little bit. You know you can smoke that, right? You can just let it go. You can just smoke that. Like it doesn't harm you to smoke the gold, and you definitely can't take that off. You would ruin the whole cigar if you try to remove that. So just let it burn. One thing about it though is like when you get to that gold foil up there, the cigar kind of gets kind of wavy and starts burning kind of crazy. But really, it's worth trying. That whole line. Cavalier does a great job, man. That white label Salomon, Justin, was really tremendous. I don't know if I picked a favorite yet. It would probably be the black too, but I don't know if I got a favorite from them yet. But I really like the line. I think they're consistent. Um, what about those Tatuaje Avions? I actually really dig that. I don't know if I did a review for the Avion, but I know I sat up here and I smoked it just to kind of kick back for myself, and I enjoyed that cigar. It was really good. So that's one definitely, for a recommendation, anybody that's looking into the Tatuajes. All right, so my man Kendall said it's been super hot outside here. I've been smoking the Arturo Fuente curly head cigars. I think the curly heads, that's kind of like their budget line, right? If I remember correct. But I don't remember them being bad. I remember them being pretty good. It's been blazing hot out here too. If you guys have been looking at the reviews that I've been doing recently, you can look at me like I'm glistening when I'm out here. Like I'm out here at night and it's perfect. It's beautiful out here. But during the day, like you can't escape the sun. So I've been cooking. When I did that live, not the live, but when I did that short recently, when I was talking about the cigar culture, and I was joking about people licking on their cigars and cutting them with somebody else's cutter and all that kind of stuff. I was cooking through that whole shoot. I was frying, and I heard it's been crazy hot in Texas. So, just stay safe out there, man. So I can only imagine like what it's like to be in AZ. I know that sun is just like beaming on y'all with no shade out there. So stay safe, brother. My man said he smoked it with the gold foil and was apprehensive. I love that, man. I'm glad you mentioned that because that really put a genuine smile on my face, dude. You ain't got to worry about that gold. You good to go. It's just like when you're drinking gold slacker. You get the little gold flakes and stuff in there. You can sip it down. You'll be all right. Just make your dookie twinkle later on. You'll be cool. So Daniel Marshall got the gold cigars too, but his cigars are like the gold foil is like on the whole thing, right? If I remember correct, that's the joint that's almost completely covered in gold. Yo, I feel you being in Saudi, man. I know you cooking at all times out there, bro. I like. Hopefully, y'all just got nice little cool, overlays, little cool places to go hide and smoke. Because if I wish I could kind of show y'all what it really looks like up here on this rooftop. Like, I don't have, I don't have any kind of covering at all. I don't have any kind of shade. And if I kind of point like over here, that used to be my umbrella stand. And the umbrella, like the wind is so strong up here that it folded up my umbrella like a lawn chair. Like I even had it wrapped up and it still folded that bad boy up like a lawn chair. So Mato said it's really hot in Jersey too. Like, yo, it's a heat wave right now. Everybody out there blazing. So Devin said, I smoked the JC Newman American last night. Damn good cigar. I've been hearing great things about that cigar. And if I'm correct, does that have like Pennsylvania broadleaf in it too? I don't like that's one cigar that I've been trying to get to that I haven't smoked yet. Honestly, when I at first thought it was gonna be like more propaganda than anything, and so I really didn't like make a gravitation to smoke that cigar. But like the feedback that I've been getting from it is that it's a really good cigar. So sooner or later, I'm gonna get my hands on it. And Kendall said, yes, it's a cheap cigar. Arturo Fuente curly hair cigars. It's not bad, but it's been 105. He's like, you ain't wasting none of your better cigars when it's 105 degrees outside. You know, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you, man. I've been doing the opposite though. I've been sitting up here, just smoking a lot of my best cigars because I just been in the mood lately where, pardon me if that's in the mic. I really just I didn't want to smoke any like mid cigars. I've been trying to smoke the best cigars I possibly could. I think I finally gotten myself to the point where if I get towards the end of the year, I can actually do a top 10 list. That's not the reason why I was doing it. It was just I really had to get to a point where I'm smoking cigars that make me feel like it's worth my time to be out here smoking and enjoying the best cigars. That's why I was kind of disappointed that that Cavalier didn't really live up like it normally did. And shout out to everybody that's hit that like button so far, man. Y'all the best, man. I appreciate you. Peter said that short was hilarious, man. Thanks for the love on that, man. Honestly, I thought that was my best short yet. And it's funny that the one I did before that like took off. It's getting almost like 6K views. This one is barely like at 200 for whatever reason. I think I think YouTube hit the pause button and was like, "Yo, we can't really promote this video. We can't put it out there." But I thought it was funny. My homegirl that I went to visit today doesn't she smoked a cigar with me before. She's not really into cigars, but she was like out of the blue. She was like, "Yo, that little video you did was hilarious. We laughed all the way back from Yokohama about that shit." So thanks for the love, Pete. I appreciate you on that one, homie. Yeah, as my man Jerome said, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Yeah, if y'all get a chance, go out there and get some of the best drinks that's out there. Get some of the ones with like all the amino acids and electrolytes and all that kind of cool shit, man. So y'all don't pass out, man. I don't want to lose none of y'all to this heat. Um, Justin said he always loved the Tatuaje Black Petite Lancero. I've never had it in the Lancero. I did have the black. I did like the black label. I can't front. I thought that one was pretty good, but I haven't had the Lancero yet. I didn't know if I would really trust Pete Johnson with a Lancero to be for real, for real. So that's just on me though. My man said Trinidad James, all go cigars, go all of my cigar. Shouts out for remembering Trinidad James. You know, everybody was hating on that boy. I like Trinidad James, man. I like him because he was unique. That was a damn good song, man. I, yeah, I keep my thoughts to myself, but I like that song. I said I gotta smoke and in the morning once 10 a.m. hit, it's triple digits. Yeah, you gotta get that joint out. You might as well be smoking like at 4 or 5 a.m., Jack. Nevada is 113. Yo, that heat wave is crazy, yo. I think the last time I was in heat like that I can remember. I didn't even realize this thing ashed, but that I can remember, I was in Newport News, Virginia. I had to be like maybe 4 or 5 years old. And my mom was taking me to Mickey D's. And I can remember being back, like once you get to Mercury Boulevard, there used to be a bank that had like the little temperature up there. You know how they used to put the digits and the temperature and all that and the little lights and whatnot. And that joint said 115. I remember rolling the window down and putting my arm on the side of my mom's car, and it was so hot that I burned my arm on that joint. So whenever I think about when people start talking about 113, 114, my brain immediately goes back to that, yo. So yeah, y'all stay safe out there. Shouts out to everybody hitting that like buttons. 10 people in here, 10 likes, man. Y'all are awesome, man. Mad love to y'all. So Matho said he smoked a couple of the small bandoleros with the heat. What do you think about the bandolero, man? I know I'm probably a little bit behind, man, but I smoked that cigar a while back. I did a review for it. I enjoyed it, and I would smoke that bandolero over like the Alfonso or the what's the other really expensive joint? The Byron. I would smoke that over the Byron any day. Let's see, the American, Connecticut. Because of the heat, I've been smoking more lighter type cigars and like a Connecticut. Okay, I feel you on that, and that makes sense because you guys saw that I did that review um, just the other day, and I did that JC Newman, and people were asking me to do that JC Newman. That was sent out to me for one, and then people in general was just asking what I thought about. But did I say JC Newman? Not JC Newman. AJ Fernandez. Excuse me. It's late. Excuse me. So it was the AJ Fernandez, and I was debating on whether I was going to do the Dorado or if I was going to stick to uh, the one that I just smoked. My brain is leaving me. If y'all remember the view, y'all probably got a better memory than I do. But that's a really good cigar, but it's such a dark, bitter, spicy cigar, man. And AJ is known for having like these, super peppery cigars, and that really wasn't the case. But being in 80 plus humidity and over 80 degrees in direct sunlight, smoking a super dark Maduro like that, that wasn't fun. So people, I feel you kind of going to the Connecticut's right now. Honestly, this is not a bad cigar because this is nice and it's nice and leathery. It's really kind of mild. It's a nutty cigar, and it's not too much, and it's not as light as a Connecticut would be. But I can imagine why you would smoke Connecticut's right now, dude. That makes perfect sense to me. Justin said it's all American tobacco. Most definitely want to try it. Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that cigar, man. Especially since I'm hearing that it really does have good flavors. I want to dissect that one and see what it's all about. And we're talking about the American in this case. Um, Said I just bought that cigar yesterday. How is it so far? I'm actually really enjoying the cigar. Just to kind of, it's hard to kind of give a real review when you run in your mouth and you're not really like dissecting the cigar. But right now, I'm getting a lot of leather. I'm getting some hints of citrus. I'm getting a nutty flavor that I would kind of describe as kind of like a hazelnut, not like the hazelnut when you get them inside the chestnut. That's the one I'm thinking of. It's more like a chestnut. It's nice and oily, but it's a soft, nutty flavor. It's not like peanut. It's not like super savory. It's not like the pecan when you or walnut when you get that woody texture to it. But it's a really nice flavor cigar, and you can kind of go based on what I was saying just a moment ago that it's not super strong. It's kind of in the mild range. Nice medium, as far as like the flavor profile, mild as far as the strength. Really good flavors. It's kind of moist, so I got to fight to keep it lit right now. So y'all bear with me. I said yesterday I smoked a La Patisserie by Crown Heads. Very good. You were right, EKB. Good cigars coming from them. Yeah, I rock with Crown Heads, man. John Huber gets busy. Um, I kind of like that he kind of shows love for EP Carrillo, and I like that he tries a lot with his blends. He doesn't kind of stay in one lane. He will go spicy from time to time. He will go, with nice, warm, toasty flavors from time to time. He'll kind of do the Cuban thing like he did with the Mil Diaz. I rock with him heavy, man. Just to say that is probably the best placencia for the money, in my opinion. I really like the Almaforte Natural, but it does cost. And you're right. And, it does cost. The 149, the 146 is in a good price range. That Placencia Reserva is at a really, really, really good price range, and that is fantastic. And for y'all that's kind of going for like a more lighter bodied smoke, that's definitely one that you want to get into. So I totally feel you on that, Jess. Peter said, I'm on my way to the local shop right now. They just got some Eye the Sharks in. I already know what you about to do, man. I know you're about to go off and you might get a box or two of those. Just enjoy one of those sharks for me, Pete. For real, bro, because I know you appreciate Don Carlos, I know you appreciate Fuente, but honestly, man, if I could just smoke that cigar and that's only the cigar that I'm smoking, I really wouldn't be mad. And I'm not trying to fanboy out. I just think that cigar is the perfect cigar. And I don't call too many things perfect at all. AC, I'm digging the cigar, man. It's cool. It's one of those things like right now, the whole thing behind this cigar is really just having a chance to sit and talk with you guys and defrag from this day. And I'm gonna tell y'all a story about like how this day was going. I kind of started early in the joint, talking about what the day was like and how it sucked so bad. And I'll get into that in a little bit more in just a minute. Jerome said it's funny that you mentioned them heat waves in Virginia in the '80s. Dude, it used to get crazy out there, man. And just thinking about like 115 is insane, man. I don't know if you was out there during that time, but brother almost had a flashback on that joint. Jerome said, if there's any nerd fans in here, that Seeing Sounds album intro Pharrell was narrating and talking about the record heat waves in Virginia in the '80s. Yo, I totally forgot about that. My wife is a diehard nerd fan. Like, I never really got into um, Pharrell's production like that. Like, I respect him. It's just not my favorite, even though, like, I know, especially being from VA, being from that area in Hampton Roads, I showed him love, man. But my wife is like diehard nurse, and I totally forgot about that. That's money right there. The fact that you remember that is fire. Um, Mato said the Bandolero Serie A are my favorite. Is that the one I had? Did I have the A or the C? I can't remember, to be honest, but I did like them both. Said any Batola, but the small Robusto is the best. Hard to find. Yeah, you don't see them. Like, it's kind of funny with United cigars in general. Atabey is absolutely my favorite. That's under their umbrella, but it's not directly under United Cigars. But I would probably say the Bandolero is second. But really, they don't do a lot of promoting. You'll see them online from time to time, but they don't really go super hard with that. But I do appreciate United's line. I do really appreciate that Bandolero. Trinidad James, all gold equal Rick James vibe. Yo, he was really on another vibe with that song. And I like the kid because he made other good songs. He was just so weird that people really didn't give him a chance. But yeah, he was, I think he was kind of channeling Rick James a little bit on that. And I ain't mad at him. Stick God Travels is up in here. Hey, if y'all get a chance, go to my man's page, Stick God Travels. Go watch some of his reviews. Hit that like button, man. Show that man some love. I'm all for people coming on the YouTube and really, kind of building up their channels and getting the fan base. I like his reviews. I sit back and watch them sometimes. It's just kind of like this way. My man just kind of kick back, really get into his cigars, really, creates a decent vibe. Look like he's just sitting on the porch, just vibing. Shouts out to you, man. So he said, I love that one, bro. Picked up a box because that cigar is going away and the 151 is taking its place. Yo, that's why I'm saying that people need to go to your page, yo, because you give good information. I honestly didn't know that myself, other than the fact that it was Honduran and it had Nicaraguan tobacco, and I wanted to do a bias guide with the 146 and the 149. I really haven't done much research other than that. So shouts out for giving that tidbit of information right there. They are out of the crop of this year, and that's all that's left. Shoot, I hope I do got another one. I got at least one more. So that's good news right there. Bad news, really. Kendall asks, have I ever smoked any of the 10 cigars? You mean just the cigars just like in the little metal tin in general? Because honestly, usually those are like smaller ring gauges, and I usually don't mess with those. Like, I'm usually just kind of buying like the individual cigars. I don't think so, Kendall. Let's see. Matho said he never had Atabey. Look, Atabeys are expensive. He was thinking about getting the Dioses, but it was $37 a stick. Look, they are really expensive, and I understand that. There are not too many cigars that I'm gonna pay $28, $30 for. The Atabey, I will pay for that cigar. Shouts out to my man Jerome for sending me that bag of Atabase because I'm so excited because I freaking love that cigar, man. Like it's really when I'm thinking about my all time list, like just when I start making that all time list, Atabay is gonna be on my all time list. It's gonna be up there with the Mikarita. It's gonna be up there with the Eye of the Shark. It's gonna be up there with the Añejo Shark. Like Atabay is that deal. It's the real deal. Listen, Pete said I checked the tracking again on the package. It says it's on the way to the destination. Fingers crossed. Also, what's really weird, Peter, man, I want to tell you about this, man. So I got a call today. I had a really weird day. I got a call today. Mm-mm. It wasn't a call. It was actually a message on from Facebook that the post office looked me up by name because they were sending packages back. So a lot of people, when they're sending me packages, they're not putting my box number up there. And when you don't put the box number up there, that post office just loses their mind. They just don't know what to do. They're like a dog chasing a car, and they like once they get up to it, they're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this shit. So these motherfuckers, my name is Keelan, Kilan, Keelan. That's it, Kilan. That's my name. These motherfuckers thought I was a 4 year old kid named Kylan, Kylan, and they sent packages back. So I'm wondering if that was what was happening with your package. But they told me today that the package had arrived, and like, hey, we figured out it was you since I sent you this message. We thought you were a 4 year old kid, so we didn't know why a 4 year old kid was getting cigars. What 4 year old kid is getting a box of cigars? Like what? That's why I was telling you, Peter. Like they do some weird shit down there, man. I don't know. Like this is supposed to be our U.S. military. Like, like what are you doing? Like anyway. So hopefully that cigar, that box will arrive, man, and hopefully that was yours that's coming through. We gonna see, man. But I don't know. I thought that was strange as hell. Matthew said he bought himself a unicorn and is saving it for retirement in 7 years. Hope it ages well. It should age well, man, just because, Taka ain't playing when he's doing his cigars. Like, he's one of those people that you can count on for quality. But I'm not mad at you saving it for, like, a really, really special occasion. And, being able to retire and kick back and enjoy it, that's going to be, like, worth it, just, symbolically. I feel you. Y'all know I'm all about smoking your best cigars. But I totally get that sentiment, man. And $100 cigar from one of the best blenders that's out there. Like Pac said, man, I ain't mad at you. He said, okay, I'll get some Atabay. If I don't like them, I'll send you the bill. Look, that's one of those that, how people are willing to put their money where their mouth is. When it comes to an Atabay, I'll put my money up for that. So I will actually, do a handshake and shake on it for that one. Like, that's how confident I am in the Atabay, bro. Like, it's not too many cigars where it's just like, it's going to be good when you light it up. And it's not even like, okay, this is a decent cigar. It's got, some decent flavors in there. You taste an Atabay. And that construction is razor sharp. That thing is immaculate. It's such a good cigar, bro. I'm not even worried about that one at all. Justin said United uses a lot of Costa Rican tobaccos. I really enjoy them. They are money. Yeah, Atabay is a special occasion smoke, and that is worth it. I totally agree. Not all of their cigars are like super duper crazy expensive, but like the Alfonso and the Byron, and honestly, I'm not even the biggest fan of those. But that Atabay, I done spoke enough about that. Y'all know how I feel. Jerome said, you know how we like to say it's levels to this, word up. But there's a definitive difference between smoking a regular Cuban and smoking a Cuban from the PSP red sticker selection. Look, I already know you stunting right now, bro. I know you stunting right now, and I ain't mad at you. Like, go ahead and flex on them, bro, because like that Partagas is gonna be crazy. So go ahead, Go ahead and do your thing, homie. So I couldn't tell you if the Partagas I had was, had the red dot on it. I don't know if it had the scopes on it. I don't know, but I did thoroughly enjoy that Partagas that I had. That Lusitania was money. So you just go ahead and post your pictures, get your selfies going. Go ahead and flex on this, man. I ain't mad at it at all. He said, most of my expensive cigars come from Luxury Cigar Club. I know you showed them mad love. And I need to reach out to them too, just to see if they want to do something with the Cigar of the Month Club. Um, and there's another Cigar of the Month Club. Jerome showing love to them red stickers, yo. But it's another Cigar to my club that I don't really mention too much anymore. That I ain't really feeling, and I feel like Luxury Cigar Club is kind of taking their place right now. So to me, that's what's really good about getting a really good Cigar of the Month club, because you can really like save a lot of money and get some of the more premium cigars and get some of the top cigars. Some of the if the cigar club is like really doing their thing the way they're supposed to, and they're really like supporting their members, you're getting some of the newer cigars that's out there. You're getting some of the cigars that are just getting released, and it gives you a chance to really figure out whether you like that. And then on top of that, you're gonna get some of the more obscure cigars as well too. That's what a Cigar of the Month club should do. You should really feel like that you're getting a premium every month, and you really should be able to feel like, okay, I got some from Black Label Trading Co. over here. Then I got whatever the new EP Carrillo cigar is. Okay, I got whatever the new Saka is. And, that's what it should be like. You should be smoking whatever's new and out there. You should be getting the best of the best. Shouts out to you, Jerome. You should be smoking your best. Word up. We should make that a hashtag for real. Hey, man. Mathos, I see you, dude. Thank you for showing up. Always appreciate the chat. Go hard on that placencia and that Atabaya, man. Let me know what you think. And I'm going to keep rocking, baby. You ain't got to sweat that. He said Black Lion Luxuries had some heat. Yeah, they did. I'll leave it at that. Lee Mack, yeah, of course Lee Mack shouted him out. They've been rocking with Lee Mack for a minute. I had to relight. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. They had some heat for a minute. But I ain't really been, I'll leave it there. So let me tell y'all the rest of this story, right? So I was telling y'all that I lost my passport, and I found a passport. So I hop on the train, to go to Yokohama, and this is not my normal route, so I got to take another route. So my father-in-law took my subway card and took it all the way back to America. So I don't have a card. So now, like every time when I go to catch a train, I gotta go and like pay for just the ticket to get where I gotta go. I don't know how much it's actually costing, so I'm like arbitrarily putting yen into this machine, trying to make my way to my destination. So I take the train, and I'm going from my station in Jamuji all the way to Kamioka. Is the major stop, and it's one of the major hubs. So it's like a big train station. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna make my way there. So we get on the train, and it's packed. It's just after lunchtime. It's like 1:30 in the afternoon, close to 2 o'clock, right? And the train is packed. Everybody traveling, doing their thing, and it's another black family that's on the train, and it's a lot of Japanese are sitting down. So me, this black family, and it's this other tall white guy that he got his luggage. He going all the way to Tokyo. He's taking his luggage. So my stop for Kamioka is coming up. So I'm like standing next to this family, and I'm still like everybody's lining up. So when the train is about to come to a stop, the majority of the people that are on the train kind of like line up at the doors. And Japan in general, like they're really kind of organized in the way that they get on and off the train. So like when you get to the train, when the train comes up to you, there are lines that you can stand in like in a queue. And so everybody like stands in this line. They let the people off the train first, and then they file onto the train, just so it's kind of like an orderly process for everybody to get on and get off, especially during the heavier business hours, right? So everybody's starting to line up to get off the train, and this old guy comes up behind me. The train has not stopped yet, and we can see that we're coming up to the station, and he keeps trying to barge his way through. So like he bumps me in the back, and I look back at him like, "Yo, man, what you doing?" I know he don't speak my language, and I know I don't speak his, but the look on my face like that is universal. Like, yo, you need to chill out, man. You doing the most right now. So the lady started, lining up in front of me, but it's only like a couple people in front of me to get out to the train. This is my stop. So apparently it's his stop too. So of course we all gonna get off at about the same time. And this guy bumps me again. I look back at him and I'm like, I look at these little kids that are around me, and I'm looking at these little sweet faces that have been smiling at me the whole time. So I'm like, all right, let me relax a little bit. And I'm like, this guy must really got somewhere to go. So I kind of give him a little bit of extra room so he can kind of walk around me a little bit if he needed to go really fast. So we finally get to the stop. The ladies file off the train, and I'm about to walk behind the ladies, and this dude just gives me a shoulder bump when he walks through. Just on some like you're just trying to be brolic shit. Like he just trying to be tough for no reason. And like he was in my sights, and in my brain, I knocked this motherfucker out on the train. I really like in my head, like I just Monster and Noye, and I just kind of cocked back and I knocked the motherfucker out. But I'm looking at these babies on the train. I'm like, I don't want them to see me operating like that. So the only thing I said was Kuso, and I called him a Baka Oji sign, and he never looked back. So, but I'm thinking like if he's bumping into me like that, like he's so dead set on getting off this train that he got somewhere to go. But when he gets in front of me, he slows down and he's just starting to like walk like nothing's happened. But when I call him out for his bullshit, he never looked back. He never looked me in my face. There's a part of me right now that still wishes I had kind of like really put, that mollywop on this dude. Like I really wish I had kind of went, above and beyond to really, put pause on this dude. Y'all know the Spence and Bud fight is coming up right now. So I would have shown him that I got a nice ass motherfucking jab. I wanted to give that motherfucker some pepper and some salt, like a nice little 1-2. But honestly, it wouldn't have been the smartest thing. I probably would have been back in the United States. My wife's job would have probably had an issue, but y'all really, like I was about to be on the news for mollywopping this dude on the train. But the reason why I'm telling that story, because I was already agitated about how the day was going, losing my passport, not having my card, struggling to kind of get through this train ride and, having to buy tickets and all that kind of stuff. Then it's crowded on the train. And this dude just wanted to test me. I guess he was having a bad day too. But I really think a lot of what he had animosity about was like you had all of these foreigners on this train and they were up there with kids. And I think he kind of felt like we were taking over and like we were really like in the way of like kind of like culturally in the way. It was personal. Like the way he was bumping into me was personal. And I think with me being 5'10", I'm 5'10", 180 pounds. I don't think a lot of people really like look at me and think I'm gonna be like some tough cat. I'm smiling at the kids and I'm like playing peekaboo and I'm having fun and shit like that. I think he thought I was soft. That shit could have went really left on him, man. But I just had to tell y'all that was like one part of the way this whole day was going. What Jerome said, them head movies be brutal. The head movies. Did I read that right? Which movie we talking about? Anyway, when I get off the train, man, instead of knocking this sucker out, I went on about my way to try to buy a new card so I could have that shit for the rest of my trip, and I didn't have to like struggle to travel around and whatnot. And I had to deal with the language barrier, and I can't get my card back until tomorrow, so I had to keep spending and to get more tickets to travel on this train. What normally would take me 30 minutes to get to Yokohama took me an hour and a half because I had to explain everything and try to speak in another language and wait for the people. I had to sign all this paperwork and stuff. It was just a long ass day trying to travel out there, man. Real men know when to handle business, but they also know when to do so. Know they can handle business, but know when to do so. Word up, man. I had to be smart about that. Hold on, my daughter's right here. What's up, little girl?
When I was on the phone with Cheyenne, I just heard a rumble right next to the window. Like a scratching sound.
You heard a scratching by the window? It was probably a cat, but you're okay. You're cool. My daughter heard something outside of her window. Got scared. It could either be a tanuki, the raccoon dog, or a cat. She's safe. It's all good. But anyway, yeah, man. Like you gotta be smart sometimes. Like I look at like going through life sometimes it's like playing chess, and you gotta think like 3 or 4 steps ahead sometimes. And I gotta admit, in the moment, I wanted to be what's the word? Like I just wanted to be not aggressive, but I wanted to be impulsive is what I wanted to say. I wanted to be impulsive and like I could feel it, welling up in me. But I really kind of looked at my surroundings and I really thought about like how this like my wife works for the military. She's under a contract. Like I really could have ruined a lot for us and the kids by stomping out this OG sign up here. And I don't think it would have been the best idea to do it in that moment. I really had to think a couple steps ahead. Plus, I had to keep going, and I'm already late meeting my friend, and that shit would have made it a lot worse. So I played it cool, man. And Justin, you're right. That was a smart thing to do. Just to to know, like I would have stumped a mud hole in that old dude, man, and it wouldn't have been fair. And it really wouldn't be fair to beat up some angry old man. That wouldn't be a good thing. He had to be in his like 50s. I mean, I'm in my 40s too, but goddamn, like it wouldn't be cool. So Kendall said, I've been trying to get into Small Batch Cigar Club. They have stopped adding new members to that club. Small Batch and Smoke In appear to be really popular, man. And I'm really not mad at Small Batch because I kind of like the way they curate their cigars and they got like a really good selection. So I will only imagine that their Cigar of the Month Club will be dope. And those who are in it probably ain't going nowhere. So I feel you on that one. It might be a minute before you get in that, but Smoke In and Small Batch got a really strong fan base. So and what I like about like a fan base like that, you don't hear people like bragging about it. They don't really go super hard, like going above and beyond with the promoting. But they always have good cigars. So the people who are connected with them, they stay in their lane. So my man Dolce said, "How is that placencia tasting? Never had that one. I was kind of going over it before. It's a kind of leathery, nice woody notes. I would kind of categorize it as chestnut with the nutty component in there. It's more on the mild to medium end. This is a Gordo, and I don't feel like this cigar is very strong at all. It's a pretty decent flavor profile. I wish it was a little bit drier, so it would be a little bit more combustible. I wouldn't have to keep relighting. I feel like that's kind of changing my flavor profile a little bit, but it's not bad. It's not a lot of pepper or spice in here. It's kind of like a creamy, leathery taste texture. That's combination that's going there. It's a good cigar. There's a little bit of a citrus note in there. It was a lot more prominent in the first portion than more so in the heart of the cigar. But for me, if you're going for a flavor profile that's more on that leathery, creamy, softer smoke texture, smoke body, then I think the cigar would be fantastic. And from what I've been told is that the 149 is a little bit more on the chocolatier, more of the more robust side. So I can't wait to do a buyer's guide on this cigar. I need to work that in. I got so much stuff on the docket right now that I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that anytime soon, but we shall see. Especially with it being 1,000 degrees outside and during the day. Justin says small batch definitely has a great selection of that of the old guard and the new wave. Yeah, and that's Justin. That's exactly what I was talking about. Like you really get a chance to try a little bit of everything, and you really get a good selection. I feel like small batch and Fox cigars, like they kind of have that pocket in there where you get a little bit of everything, and they give you a nice selection where you get that variety. You get so you can go back and get some of the new classics. You can go back and get some of the older cigars that were really popular, and you can still get some whatever's new. And you're gonna like the name small batch. You can go and you can get your illusiones, you can get your warps, you can get your black labels and all that. I dig that they really have that variety. That really makes a big deal. Shout out to everybody that hit that like button, man. Y'all show mad love. Uh, how are you feeling about Cubans these days? More so in terms of the flavors. Smoking a Cohiba BHK now, and it's just not blowing me away. That's a good point right there in itself, Sam. I'm doing a video very soon, just in general, about my complete thoughts on Cuban cigars. So I'm not gonna go like too deep into that because I don't want to step on the video too much. Especially since I've been kind of talking about this from live to live to live. But just in general, I love Cuban cigars. And I always say what my favorites are. I always kind of go down the line of like the Cuban cigars that I really like. Shouts out to Trinidad. Shouts out to uh, Ramon Alones. Shouts out to Partagas. I know Jerome, if he's still in here, can give you some love on the red dots with the Partagas Lusitanius right now. But saying that to say, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Cohiba in general. Like, I like them, but I don't love them. And same with the Romeo y Julietas. Like, I rarely ever like go down that lane. I have my Cuban cigars that I kind of stick to. Stick God, brother. Shouts out, man, on that super love, man. That's that means a lot, brother. That means a lot. It's funny that the channel just recently got monetized. For you to go that far, especially having your own channel, that means a lot, brother. That's not lightweight. Um, but as far as Cubans, I want to go in and kind of demystify Cubans. I think if people were kind of looking at Cubans and bringing them from the top of this mountain, down to like down to earth a little bit, I think people would appreciate Cubans a lot more. And I think if you take some of that hype off of them a little bit, then you can really get a feel for some of the better Cubans that are out there. I think I'm gonna kind of leave it right there because I don't want to like step on my show, but like I really feel like Cubans are great. Some of the quality control is an issue, but they just need to be demystified a little bit. Dolce says, "Man, I love your view. I thought it was a green screen. First video I watched." I got a dope view of the Minneapolis skyline. I got my homeboy from Minneapolis, man, and he shouts out to Minneapolis and Prince and all that, man. Minneapolis is dope. It's cold as fuck out there, but I think on one of the videos that you saw, it might have been a green screen. But what I did with that green screen was like I literally just took a picture of this and then put it behind me because when I wanted to do the show itself, the audio wasn't right, so I had to redo it, and I just wanted to create the same vibe. But that is Zushi Japan right there, man. That's my neighborhood. It's really like one of those things like I'm gonna dread when I ever have to leave Japan, or if I have to move to another part of Japan. I'm gonna miss this, man. And honestly, I think this is really what made my show pop off. When I originally, I had a much better phone and a much better camera at that point in time. I really am trying to make sure my light's still on. I really feel like that's what kind of drew people into my show because the depth of field was just so perfect on that camera, and just like with me sitting in front of this view was crazy. When it's clear outside, you get to see Mount Fuji back there. You get to see Zushi Beach, and it's the real deal, brother. It's really no camera tricks to this. Hey, man, I show love because you really got a dope channel, man, and I really feel like you brother of the leaf, man. So thank you for going above and beyond. You really didn't have to do that, but it means a lot, man, and just people showing support. And I just hope that if me pointing people to your channel each time that I do it. I hope it really gives you the crowd that you need to. You really have a really good show, and I'm being dead honest. You have a great show. You got a good point of view, man. You really smoke really good cigars, and you really go in depth. You're informative, so more people need to be watching your show. And I'm saying that 100% love for what you're doing out there. Keep it rolling, bro. Um, Dave says, "What's going on, man? Hope you're good." I'm good, brother. I was just kind of telling people about how crazy my day was, but honestly, it's after midnight. I'm just chilling on the rooftop, having a great conversation with y'all, man. This is the life, man. Like this, you know, to be able to go through whatever you go through, and at the end of your day, you light up a good cigar, you hang out with some people, and talk some cool shit. How can I be mad at that? My kids are down there safe. They watching YouTube and playing on the screen. My wife was watching Dungeons and Dragons. She down there chilling. Tomorrow I got a really cool show that I'm gonna do for y'all. So I'm kind of excited. I've been waiting to. This is one of the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust cigars that I haven't smoked yet. So I'm gonna light that up, and I'm gonna show some love to Japan. Kind of do some really cool stuff with the camera and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully on Monday I'll have a really good show for you. Good spirits, man. God willing, nothing will happen to me by the time I go to sleep and wake up tomorrow, and everything will still be positive. Jerome said he just subscribed to Stick God. Show the man some love, man. Appreciate you, Jerome. The dude got a really good show. And here's the thing, y'all. Make sure the cigar's still lit. I told you it was moist. But it's really hard to develop like a following on YouTube, especially in a market that's so saturated. You got a lot of people who are faking the funk and trying to go through nefarious ways to get subscribers, and you got to deal with the algorithm. You got to deal with competition. You got to deal with people like within their bias. Like once people find a show, they find a reviewer that they like, and they stick to that reviewer. Sam, shouts out on that love, man. I really appreciate you doing that, man. Y'all don't know, honestly, it means a lot, because based on what I'm saying right now, like it took me 3 years to get just barely 3,000 subs, and y'all seen the amount of time and effort I've put into this channel. So being able to like all the time and effort that you put on Instagram, going to Reddit, and trying to show your show to people and have them take the time to watch it, and then trying to get the best cigars to smoke, and putting your money into paying for those cigars, and then like trying to figure out the way to make your show feel like it's its own thing, and coming up with new ideas and coming up with new show concepts. Like what took Ron Will, when you think about Ron Will, what took him to blow up was coming up with that March Madness idea, which was absolutely one of the most phenomenal ideas to do in just in regards to like reviewing cigars. It's just brilliant. But you're trying to do that and come up with these concepts and trying to be an individual and stay within your own lane. It's not an easy thing to do, man. And it's not easy to get people to stop for 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes out of their day to take the time to listen to you go on about a cigar like a bunch of leaves. It's really taxing, and it takes so much effort to do that. You got to spend an hour out of your day away from your family, away from whatever you're doing. Now you're smoking a cigar, which is a beautiful thing, but you're also not doing it just for your own enjoyment. You're doing it because you're trying to inform people, and you're trying to provide something to the cigar culture. So anybody that I see doing something really good, I try to lead them in the right direction, man. So shouts out to everybody that been to show love to the man Stick God. That's some dope shit to do. My man Dave said he's enjoying the Nub 460 Habano. What are you smoking? So I'm smoking the Placencia 146. Sorry, my lighting is really bad. It's really bright, but if I turn this off, y'all ain't gonna see me. I'm dark as the night, my damn self. Definitely said you and Hound Dog are my favorites, man. Hound Dog is on another level, man. Matt, honestly, just being real, like all of you guys that are in here right now, 7 of you guys that are in here, and we probably had up to like 13 or so people. Everybody that comes on to this channel, a lot of some of you have found me through the New Wave, through Matt, through Pick Jimmy or Master Your Ash. Some of you have been rocking with me, like Sam from day one. Val Scorp has been around from day one. It's really cool that like to meet like really cool people. And Matt is one of them dudes, like honestly, like if we weren't doing this, like as far as being on the channel, if we met somewhere down the line, he and I would still kick it. Like he really is just a cool dude. But to have the type of a persona that he has on the channel, to have the type of ability to be able to obtain the type of cigars that he gets and to be consistent as he is, to be able to put out show after show. And he has a phenomenal palate. He has a outstanding vocabulary, just in general, to be descriptive and to really put the cigars in a perspective so that anybody that comes to his channel can understand what he's talking about. I got nothing but love for that brother, man. And like with I think he's almost at 11 or 12,000 subscribers right now. To do that in 2 years, 2 years, nothing, you can't do nothing but take the Roscoe chicken and waffle hat off to that dude. Because like he really has created a great show. And I went through this whole thing, doing the buyer's guide, doing special delivery, doing EKBSN. Like I tried to make this channel a network, and I try to do all these different things. But just with him just staying consistent and just straight up reviews, straight to the point, having the score system was just a smart, simple way to do the show, and it worked wonders, man. I'm proud of the dude. He really is a good dude. So, what are you? So are you asking what happened to Ron Will? Um, it's kind of funny, man. Like I don't know all the details, and I got my speculations, and I wouldn't put any speculations on camera like that. But I know when he started the channel, he was saying that if he was doing reviews for over 2 years, then he was gonna quit. Like what he wanted to do was get into the cigar industry. He wanted to be a blender, and I know for a period of time he was working on it. But and I know he got in connections with Black Lion Luxuries for a while, but you don't really see him rocking with them too much anymore. I don't know if they still cool. I don't know. I can't speculate on that. But I know that when you're doing these reviews and when you're working on your channel and you're trying to put out this stuff, you got a family to deal with, you got your career. I know he's a firefighter and he had his own career. The mental health aspect on it is really draining. Like coming up with ideas, trying to be consistent, trying to deal with the YouTube algorithms, trying to deal with all the different guidelines that YouTube has and all that kind of stuff. And, coming up with a different effort and the time, and your family is like, hey, we need your time too. I just think he just got burnt out. And I understand him because believe me, y'all see there's certain times where I disappeared for a while too. And I was having like, some my own troubles with, my family life and all that kind of stuff like that too. Like it's hard, man. It's really taxing. Um, and it's so much easier to do these lives because, you can get up here and just kind of freestyle and you just kind of have a conversation and all that kind of stuff. But when you're actually putting together a show, I know he had another dude that was like doing the editing and, filming with them and all that kind of stuff. And both of them had their own personal things that they were going through, not with each other. They were still cool, but just trying to, create the show and put out good content on a regular basis and setting up lights and, like it's work, man. It like really, that's why I go so hard when people, like gives like super thanks and all that kind of stuff like that. It means a lot because you really put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into getting the show going. And if something is happening, like if you had a rough day and you still got to put on a good persona and you got to make shorts and you got to do all that, it's a lot. You got to promote your own channel. Dude just got burnt, man. And I hope he's well. And I got no malice with him. I got no beef with him. I just hope he's doing well. I hope mentally he's in a good place. I hope his career is going well. I got nothing but positive things to say about him. I know he inspired me to do the show. So, and it's one of those things that's why like I show love to people like Stick Guy who's out there doing their own thing. I just want people to go to their channel, smoke what you like, um, I just forgot my man's name and I feel bad. But like I try to show love to everybody that's out there. If you're taking the time to put yourself on camera, you really are exposing yourself to, thousands of people. And you're putting like your identity out there, and you run the risk of saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing or people knowing too much about you. You never know who's going to be like a creepy fan, or who's just going to be like a really cool viewer, or who's another reviewer that's respecting it. You don't know who you're going to meet, and you're just out there on Front Street, and it's a lot of pressure, honestly. Sam said, what cigars can you recommend that are naturally sweet, sort of like Ashton Maduro's? Naturally sweet. The 149, the Silver Mesa Brulee, the Foundation Connecticut, the J.C. Newman Julius Caesar. God, I feel like I'm forgetting some. If you go to my shorts, I did one that's on, just chocolatey cigars. I gave a few recommendations on that one, but off the top of my head, I would go towards those. They just got a naturally sweet flavor that are absolutely delicious. Oh, I can't forget the Micarita Black. That thing is sweet and delicious. It is so the original Micarita Black Saka Khan was a double Corona. It's a huge cigar, but he just recently released the Papa Saka that is now in a normal Corona size. So that would be phenomenal if you get a chance. That cigar is one of the sweetest, most delectable cigars that's out there. You will definitely enjoy that. It's really like naturally sweet cigars is kind of my lane too. So those are some off the top. The Warhawk, I think that's by Henry Clay. Henry Clay. The Warhawk is really good. The Joya de Nicaragua, Connecticut is a really sweet, delicious cigar. The Joya de Nicaragua Cuatro Cinco is a really nice, sweet cigar, but it has a little bit of spice to it too, so it gives you a good balance. So I hope I gave you some really good options out there. And I've been trying to do different reviews, like with the top tens, to have the top tens focus on different flavor profiles. So I'll kind of go and sit in my room and work on one for naturally sweet profiles. Oh, Don Carlos number 4, that has a tobacco sweetness that is really good. Don Carlos, when it comes to Fuente line, is probably like one of my all-time favorites, not just from the Don Carlos Sharp, but just that you can get the number 2 or the number 4, and you can get a nice tobacco core, tobacco sweetness out of that cigar. It is phenomenal, man. That's really good. Sorry for the dead air. Sorry for the pause on that. Just had to make sure this cigar was lit again. I got my nice little cherry going. I've been talking about this a lot, man. I've been having a hard time with my humidor, just because of the weather in Japan in general. And for whatever reason, that humidor is creating its own moisture. I don't know if it's just drawing moisture in from the air or what, but it took me about a month to get that thing to a point where like I can actually just go into that and pull out a cigar and smoke it without having to dry box. But a cigar like in this Gordo, it's so much moisture and it's like you can kind of see like it's still moist. So I got to be really careful. So Peter has some suggestions it looked like as well too. Said 3 Opus Sharks, 3 Don Carlos Sharks, 2 La Cremas. Oh hell yeah, that La Crema. God damn, how did I forget that? I talk about that cigar all the fucking time. That's what you just scooped up right then. And who's that? Sam. Go and get Crown Heads La Creme. That cigar, if you want to talk about like just basically having like a chocolate brownie as a cigar, god damn it if that cigar is not phenomenal, man. And that's one of the most naturally sweet cigars that's out there. Dude, you had a great run. Did you have the show going? Did you leave and come back, Peter? or did you have like the show on in your headphones while you were out of the shop, man? That's a good come up right there. The Opus Sharks alone, and then you just get the Journey Across America joint too, where you got the Julius Caesar Shark and the Opus Shark. Shouts out to you for that. That's another good one. That's the come up right there, man. I'm amazed that you didn't buy a box though. You say you got me playing on the phone. That's a good look. Yo, so when we were talking about, man, people just like how difficult it is to develop a fan base. I don't even want to say fan base. Pardon me for even saying that. For developing like subscribers and developing like viewers of the channel, I don't look at you guys as fan. That's like a weird thing. I'm really particular about certain words that I use. And like calling somebody a fanatic or a fan, especially of me, and I'm just a dude just sitting, on my rooftop smoking cigars and doing reviews, it ain't nothing to be a fan of in general. But like to have it where people will come into a live. Y'all been rocking with me for an hour and 30 minutes right now. I did a 5-hour live one day and people stayed in for 5 hours just kicking it with me, and for people to like put on my lives and, to go through their work day, smoke a cigar in the morning and drink their coffee, and keep rocking with me while they out at the cigar lounge. That's love, man. For y'all to send in, your hard-earned dollars to the channel, that's love, man. And like, I can't tell you how much that means. Like the biggest thing for me, like we were talking about Ron Real earlier. When I used to watch Dr. Joe and Mr. Lancero, Ron Real, like on a regular basis, like I would anticipate when he's doing a live, and I would go and comment and just talk cigars and send in my questions and all that kind of stuff. It's just interesting to really appreciate someone's point of view and perspective that much that you would take time out of your day to listen to them. I never thought anybody would give a damn to listen to the Vintage Cigar like that, and you guys would like come and hang out with me for a live and stuff like that. And when people just be like, hey man, I'm glad I caught your show, and I've been waiting to go on your live. I remember doing that with Ron. I remember doing that with Lee Mac. So that's just kind of cool to that y'all show love and support like that, man. It means a lot, really. Justin said, just got to the crib, firing up, and Arturo Fuento Destino asked, and this is what I appreciate about y'all, man. When certain times, like, you try not to be a snob and you try not to be judgmental. But you see people with certain cigars, and they got like a lot of General cigars and STGs and Altitude cigars, and they just kind of smoking the bottom rung of stuff, or just smoking whatever just they can get out of like Cigar International or whatever magazine or whatever. And you're just like, yo, there's so many other cigars that's out there that you can try. And there's so many other brands that you can delve into. You can get into the Warps, so you can get into the Illusiones, you can get into Fuente, and then you can go over to Placencia, and you can go over to Blackworks, and like it's so many different cigars that are out there. Y'all motherfuckers smoke some good cigars. Like that whole list that Peter just had up right there, and then my man smoking the Sigalo. Like y'all smoke some good shit, and I really appreciate that. And when I'm seeing like, damn, I would, sometimes y'all talking about the cigars y'all have, and I'm like, damn, I wish I had that cigar right now, my damn self. So I feel good that the people who are like tuning in with me, kicking it with me, I know y'all smoking good. And that shit, my man got like the La Creme, like that shit is one of my favorites. Outstanding cigar. I know y'all smoking great shit. Shouts out to everybody that hit that like button, man. Thank y'all for doing that. Showing love to the vintage, man. I appreciate you. So he said they wouldn't let me. They limited each customer to 3. Oh, okay, so they they probably saw you coming in and was like, yo, no boxes, B, no boxes. They know you were coming in and buy the joint up. You coming out with boxes like this and shit, motherfuckers standing there. Now they gotta go and smoke some fucking Alec Bradley and shit, pissed off. I'm gonna get in trouble, yo. Uh, oh no, no doubt. I know you show the receipts for sure. Nah, man. But just in all seriousness, man, it's like I feel like when I'm doing this channel, man, when I'm like when I'm doing it, not just the reviews, but when I'm doing the buyer's guides and I'm doing the top 10s and stuff like that, like I really try to showcase the Cavaliers. I try to showcase the Hoya de Nicaraguas. I try to showcase, Illusione, and I try to, mention some of the cigars that I don't think a lot of people are smoking. But I'm trying to point people to some of the best options that are out there, and I want them to really explore these cigars and not just kind of go on what they see on the magazine and what's being sold to them in Cigar Aficionado, or what's on the front page of Cigar Bid or whatever. There's some other stuff that's like magic out there that's really worth really taking your time. Foundation is out here killing it. Why wouldn't you be smoking Foundation cigars right now? You know what I'm saying? I really try to point it out, okay, Oscar got some dope shit, Tata Wahe's doing this cigar. I really try to point everything out, so it's it's not just what I'm smoking, but it's also what I'm getting from other people around me. And just hey, if you just mentioned Davidoff, I'm just hey, there's some of the Davidoffs over here that you really need to be smoking on. Peter said I would never force anybody to smoke, and Alec Bradley, especially that Magic Toast. I know. You know how me and Matt do with that Magic Toast. Me personally, I like it's 2 Alec Bradleys that I'm gonna smoke. I will smoke the Magic Toast and I will smoke the Kintsugi. The rest of that shit can just fuck off for real. But I'm gonna smoke those. You know what I'm saying? But I feel you on that. I know you're not trying to lead anybody down that line. I feel you, Peter. Sam said, "Is the Davidoff Dominicana any good? Is it on the sweet side?" I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that Dominicana is not on the sweet side. It's not the most flavorful cigar that's out there. Go back and check out that buyer's guide that I just did for Davidoff. I really went into my favorite Davidoffs on that one, and I just so happened to have that Dominicana. I enjoyed it, but no, it's not on the sweeter end. Honestly, what I would recommend for you out of that whole line is to go either with the late hours or go with the Nicaragua. And they're not necessarily sweet, but they're probably the most flavorful out of all of them. That Yamasa is really good too, but that's more on the spicy end. So I'm not the biggest Davidoff fan in the world, but I try to make that show to show what Davidoffs I would smoke and one of the ones that I do like. Jerome said he never had an Alec Bradley. Jerome, I actually want you to join in on this whole discussion that we got. I want you to try the Magic Toast if you can and get that Kintsugi. I promise you will like that Kintsugi. And Sam, that Kintsugi is another sweet cigar, man. It tastes like cream and whipped cream, honestly. It's a really creamy cigar, and you get the graham cracker notes and all that kind of stuff. You get the nice honeys in there. It's just a really good, that Kintsugi is magic, bro. Um, he said you're not missing much. Yeah, with Alec Bradley, I'm not a fan of Alec Bradley. It's just me personally. Like Alec Bradley does not move me at all, and Caldwell does not move me at all. Like I can't get into his cigars. I keep trying. Like they just don't do it for me at all. He said Alec Bradley was not on his radar, and we confirmed why. And honestly, it's not my thing. Yeah, Jerome, he's saying sweet but not infused. He's talking about like naturally sweet cigars. I can't personally do. I'm gonna get another cigar. Y'all don't go anywhere just yet, man. This one is too moist, so I'm tired of relighting it. Give me a sec. All right, that was quick, right? So this is the crux that I just had for that video that I just did the other day. So I never lit the cigar. I just used it for the video. So we're gonna light this bad boy up and see how it goes for the night. I actually haven't had this cigar, so I don't know if it's good or not. If you guys have had this crux, y'all can let me know if it's good. This is probably at the right RH where it should be. It feels good. It cut nicely. So this should smoke a lot better than that cigar that I just had. It wasn't anything wrong with that 146. It was just too moist, man. It needed way more time in the dry box. Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's such a difference when your cigar is at the right RH, man. Like when a cigar is too moist, man, it's really not that enjoyable at all. This is right. It doesn't taste as good as that 146, but hey, it's smoking right. So far, this just tastes like oak. We're gonna see how this goes. Let's see what we got here. What we got? Extended sessions on the deck. Let's go. Yeah, you know how we do. You know I don't play around. I might be out here with y'all for another. We'll see how long this microphone goes. So let me not get too excited. Yeah, Sam said no, not infused, just natural flavors. Ian, what up, homie? What's good? What you smoking on this morning, bro? What you got going? So right now we got the Crux Epicure. I think this cigar just came out. I think this is pretty new. How did I get this? Did I get this from? I think I got this out of the Cigar of the Month Club. I think it came from Alex with my cigar pack. I think that's where this one came from, if I remember correct. And honestly, like I've gotten so many cigars recently that it's hard for me to keep up with, so I apologize. What is my favorite Oliva from the Oliva series? I like the Oliva G, and I like the Oliva V Melanio. I love Cameroon for one. I like Cameroon wrappers, so that's why I go with the Oliva G. And I like the Melanio. Honestly, you feel kind of like you're just kind of like going with the flow or going with the wave when you talk about Melanios. But honestly, Sam, you need to get that Melanio if you haven't had it yet, man. It's just such a really good cigar. Also, the Pledge. I think you would like the Pledge too from EP Carrillo, but that's just a sidebar. But with the Oliva, it's kind of hit and miss for me. But I like the Oliva V, and I like the Oliva V Melanio, and I like the Oliva G. Those are like Oliva is kind of hit and miss for me, but that Oliva V is just money, man, and it's not overrated to me. I think it's properly rated. Yo, I honestly I don't know what line Crooks is under. I think it's their own thing. I don't know who they're with or who they're under, to be honest with you. Like I just like started seeing them kind of pop up a little bit more, and this is my first time really like sitting down with one. So I'll let you know what it's like from there. I didn't do any kind of research on it. I just got it out of that Cigar of the Month box. I heard some decent things about it, so I decided, hey, it's right here. Let me light it up. Yeah, that master blend actually, got a lot of love, man. I haven't had one in a long time. And to me, it was actually pretty good, but I kind of stayed away from it because like, it was just kind of got like overexposed. And you would think I would do that the same way with the Melanio, man. But the Melanio is really on another level. It's so damn good. So, and so I don't knock either one of those at all. So Sam said he got the pledge and it will arrive on Monday. I think you're gonna enjoy that cigar, man. And Peter, I got the Melanio Maduro down there. I just haven't lit it up. Um, I hear that it's not as good as the OG, but I still want to try it. I just want to do a comparison for myself. And Sam said he also got a Fuente and Yeho 48. I think you're going to enjoy that and Yeho 48. I mean, it's a nice size on the cigar for one, and that añejo is just delicious when you start getting those fruit notes that are in there. It's just a beautiful, well aged, Fuente at its best, man. It's such a good cigar. Uh, that also reminded me that if you ever get a chance to get the 1502 line, if you can find that line out there, the Sapphire is a really sweet. It's like a blueberry sweet, and it's a natural cigar. It's wonderful. It's expensive, but it's wonderful, and it's hard to find. Kendall was saying, I want to join Small Batch Cigar Club, but they are not adding. Yeah, you mentioned that earlier, man, that they're not adding any more in, which is, it kind of sucks, but, that's what we were saying, that they're such a good company, man. It's such a good website to get cigars from, that people who are getting into that Cigar of the Month Club, they're not leaving, bro. Um, yeah, you did say that your favorite in was the Liga Privada number 9, and I like the 9. I don't like the draw of the line of the 9, but I do like the 9. For me, the T52 and the H99, I like those a little bit better. But I appreciate the 9, but I kind of go like if I'm gonna smoke a number 9, I would rather have a Micarita. But that's just me. Let's see. Every time I come on here, I gotta plug the El Septimo's collection. Yo, I gotta get on. You see what I was talking about with the wind? The wind get crazy up here, man. Like that's why I'm getting broken up here. But I gotta get on those El Septimos, man. That's just one of those that's like it's not really readily available out here, and it just so happens that nobody has sent those out to me. It's not one of those like I can't just go to Neptune and grab that one. That's one I would have to actually search for, and I just haven't taken the time. Now that people are like actually supporting the channel, I should be able to go out there and get an El Septimo for myself. I really want to try that out because I've been hearing I would like initially like everybody was in love with that line, and just in general everybody was in love with it, but then it kind of like the buzz started to kind of die down. The reviews became kind of mixed. He said, just Ghidorah. Yo, one of these days, yo, I'm gonna be up here and a kaiju is just gonna be walking across the back, man. That shit might actually happen, man. And you can actually go into Shibuya in Tokyo, and they got a Godzilla that sits up there and that roars at certain times of the day. I love Gogeta is my shit, man. I fucking love that shit, man. So that's kind of dope every time you bring it up. That really give me a real genuine laugh, yo. Uh, Ian said, I just can't get the Steve Saka stuff. I don't know why. Get it? I don't know why either. I don't know why you can't get into it. Like, I love Saka shit, man. And he's the OG for the Liga Privada. Like, there would be no Liga Privada without Saka. So I don't understand why you can smoke those, but you can't smoke Micarita. I don't get it. It don't make sense to me. Like, he's the man. He's the reason why you're there. You say Kendall said you like the Undercrown over the number 9. Like the Undercrown 10, I agree with you on that. I like the standard Undercrowns too. Like, and for me, like that's just like if you're gonna do a mass-produced, just everyday cigar, the Undercrowns are kind of where it's at. Like I think they're consistent enough that they just smoke really well, and you don't have to spend the money for the Ligas and all that kind of stuff. I think that Undercrown is fire, so I'm not mad at that. Um, Tobacconist of Greenwich has some in stock, and they ship to APLs, no doubt. And thank you for always like giving me other spots that I can go to, and I'll hop on it. I just haven't been buying cigars for myself recently, and I got to get back on that. Um, I'm trying to get into Rick Rodriguez's stuff, like the West Tampas. So I've had that in my box to buy for a while. I just haven't done it yet. So I'll get around to it. And my man said he's a kaiju nerd. Shouts out to you, man. I need to start putting some of that in my videos. Y'all know how I just do random shit that I love. I need to start putting more kaijus in my video. So thank you for giving me that idea. The last video I did, I wanted to put Dragon Ball Z in there because me and Matt was talking about it behind the scenes. I just didn't have the time or the effort to put it in the video the way I wanted to, and I didn't want to half-ass it. But that would be something really dope. I'm gonna find a way to put that in to kind of make this shit fun. Kendall said the El Septimo cigars are overpriced for what they are. And see, that's part of what I've been hearing, Kendall. Um, but it's like the people who really appreciate them. And then you got certain people that's just like, it's just not worth the cost. I really can't make that assessment until like I actually smoke it for myself. I'm really hardcore about that. Like I try not to comment too much unless I really like have taken the time to like really smoke them and try them out. I don't know about this Crooks, man. I'm rolling with it, but it's not giving me a lot. Okay, that retro head was pretty good. So let me try that again. That retro head actually had a little bit of kick to it. Some pepper and some tree nuts. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. A little bit of cinnamon. Okay. Pardon me, I spoke a little bit too soon. Nah, it's not just basic oat notes anymore. That's kind of transition. It's some pepper on that, some cedar. A little bit of cinnamon. Honestly, I needed a retro hell to actually get some flavor out of this. That's what it was. I wasn't retro helling. And I can finally retro hell again. I couldn't retro hell like after messing with Sanj Patel, man. Sanj set me up, man. He had me on his show trying to show me how to retro hell, and I blew my sinuses out, and I wasn't able to retro hell for a minute. Finally able to do that. This is definitely has to be a Habano. It's some nice spicy notes in there. It's a little bit of chili in there now too. I'm getting that kind of peppery chili with a little bit of sweetness in there. Okay, this is not bad. Forgive me, like I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. Is that a 5x52? I think this is a 5x50 or 5x52. It's definitely not a 54. This is not a big cigar at all. So it's definitely a Robusto. This is a little thing. Yeah, Peter, my sinuses have finally recovered to the point that I can actually retro hell without feeling like I'm killing myself, bro. It took me out for a minute, man. Sanj set me up, bro. Like I was hurting for a while. Like I really couldn't enjoy it. He said, who's colder, Steve Saka or Nelson Alfonso? Yeah, I know what I'm going to say. You know I'm going to say Saka. You know I'm going to say Saka. But like, honestly, right now, like, I don't think anybody is fucking with Saka and Nick Manillo right now. Like, I just don't think it's anybody. Just consistency for the amount of cigars that they put out, for the amount of limiteds that they put out right now, and the uniqueness of their cigars and the diversity from one cigar to the next. I don't think anybody's fucking with them dudes. If y'all know somebody else that's like going harder than that, let me know. What line do you think is going harder than that? Anybody here had the La Galera Jade Imperial. Hell yeah, Jerome, I had the Jade Imperial. It's actually a review up on that. I like Cal Gellis too, but Cal Gellis kind of leans a lot more towards like the real Cuban S cigars. And don't get me wrong, I fuck with his shit too, and he has enough diversity in there too that I'm not trying to say like he's like a chump by any stretch. I'm not. I like his shit, I do, but he kind of leans more toward that Cuban S vibe, and that's cool and all. But I just like the diversity, like excuse me, with Saka and Nick, they'll give you some banging ass Maduros, and then they'll give you some really unique ass Connecticut's, and then they'll give you something that like has like its own lane that doesn't taste like any of those, and they'll mix it up with the broadleaf, and they'll mix it up with the San Andres, and then they'll throw some matcha in there. Like I really fuck with like how they switch shit up. But that Jade Imperial B, La Galera is like killing it in general. Anyway, their Connecticut is fire. That Jade Imperial is probably one of the more unique cigars that is out there. It's delicious, and the Anamoy is banging as a Maduro. That shit is so good. I like AJ Fernandez, man, but AJ is like really peppery, and AJ like his Cameroon is really good, and AJ mixes it up, and he does a lot with his blending, but to me, AJ will have some of his blends that just like it's either all pepper or then like you'll get some that like don't taste like anything at all. And then you got some that are just like, oh shit, he killed it with this one. So I like him, but I just wouldn't put him in that same category. Anyone tried the La Aurora Preferidos or some of their limited stuff like the Pure Vintage? I think I've had all of those, but if I remember correct, Sam, the Preferidos, was that the ones that were like it was like they had emerald names, like or like jewel names, and they were in double perfectos. I think I had the Cameroon, and I had a sapphire, and there was another one that I had too. I can't remember. Like I think it was one that was in the red case, and they were phenomenal. I haven't had them in about 2 years though, to be honest with you, but they were really really good. Sorry, my connection went out. Yeah, I think it was Cameroon that was on that Jade. You're right, dude. And that Jade, honestly, Ron Will put me onto that cigar. Ron Will put me onto that one, and like I got another one that's downstairs, and that's one of those that I think it's the only one that I have left. So I just haven't smoked it in a while. But I love that cigar, man, and that's one that I really need to go back. It's certain cigars that I need to go back to just to kind of like do. I was debating on this to just do like a redo. I know I did that with one cigar that I hadn't had in a while, and I just kind of wanted to see if I still appreciate it as much as I did before. And I think that's one of those that like each time I've had it, it's never been bad. It's actually been outstanding each time. So it's just one of those I just need to kind of just show some love again. I'm appreciating this Habano, man. This is actually doing pretty good. It was a little bit too one note at first, but after that retro hell, like it has a longer finish, and it's kind of staying around for a while. So that like that cinnamon and spice is actually kind of sticking around. So it's making me want to draw a little bit more. So that kind of helped out a lot. Here's a Cuban recommendation that don't hurt the pockets. The Cuaba, the Stigidos. Am I fucking that up? Have I had that one? I think I've seen it. If I haven't had it, I feel like I've had that one. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and try it again. I know they have them out here. I know I can go get them. But I like when y'all give recommendations, man. Not just for me, just trying to throw out stuff. I'm dyslexic, so you can clown, I know I be fucking up words, though. I heard you speaking on opening up a lounge in the States. You should go for it. A lot of younger people smoke cigars now. We were talking about that on one of the lives, dude. And it's one of those things where, and I was also talking about it with the new wave cats in the chat, that it's going to be one of those things where getting people out to a lounge, you're going to have to do the lounge in a certain way that makes people want to come out to it and feel like, yo, it's a real cool place to kick it. And in my heart of heart, with the idea that I think that I have, I really think I can draw like a younger crowd in. And I think I can make it so that it's a mixed crowd, that you got, you know, the old heads that just want to sit in the leather chair and talk business all day and talk about, working on cars and shit, to kind of mix in with the people that want to, come hang and watch the boxing match or watch some MMA, watch the NBA. And then the people that just kind of want to, come in and talk comics and shit, and just kind of chill and vibe and talk about anime. I really think I can kind of bring everybody together, because I'm that dude that's in the middle. I'm like the perfect 80s kid where, I still love my cartoons, I still love my comics and my horror movies and my kaiju and shit like that. And y'all know how much I love talking sports. And I love just sitting with the old heads and talking business and shit like that. So I kind of feel like I've got this idea that's gonna bring everybody together. So it's just a matter of bringing that vision to fruition. Once I get there, in my head, I can see what my lounge look like. I can see how the walls are painted. I can see the designs that I put up there. I know how I want my humidor to sit. Yeah, I know how I am about the different brands of cigars. I know the people that I want to bring in. So I'm hoping right now that with the Vintage Cigar, and just I'm building up enough cachet that once I get to that point where it's time for me to open this up, that people will support me. I can go to the Matt booths, and I can go to the Cal Gellis and Steve Saka, and they know who I am and they know how to respect cigars. Like Carlito follows me, so I'm hoping it's one of those. Yeah, bringing it to fruition, brother. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm hoping they know me enough that I can actually, make an account with them, and they will, feel like they can support, even if they're just kind of giving me some of their basic stuff, that I can, build up a humidor where it would be worth it for people to come in. So we're gonna see. And he said it was a Perfecto Vitola. So yeah, those were the ones that I smoked out. Those La Auroras were actually really good, and I love a double Perfecto. So good smoke body, nice. I'm enjoying this. So Kendall says, so after work, I'm going to have a Room 101 Golden Death Bucket cigar, dude. I don't know who it was the other day. It's this dude that is on Instagram. So y'all tell me if y'all know what his name is. I don't know what his name is, but he's the dude that's like always start off his Instagram lives like really hype, like, hey everybody, I'm here. And he's like pointing his fingers and doing that shit. And he's like super loud. He's kind of like Tim from Cigars Daily. He's like super hyper. And he was saying that he was like, he was trying to sell like some Death Buckets. And that's one of the ones that, like, when that was really hype, when they were releasing the Death Bucket 1 and 2, I never got them. I still to this day haven't smoked one of them, and I want to smoke that, because the thing about Room 101 is like the Namakubi is one of my favorite cigars. That is an outstanding and unique cigar. And I got a feeling like those Death Buckets are kind of in that same vein, that like this is a unique flavor profile that stood up to the test of time and kind of went beyond the hype. So I went to this dude in the DM and was like, yo, can you send some of those to me, for review? And I just want to, I want people to know what you're doing right now. Like, we can connect the shows and, and send them out to me. And he, in a nice way, was just like, nah. So I can't get mad at him, but it was just kind of funny the way he kind of played me off to the left. But it is what it is. I never got a Death Bucket 1 or 2. So let me know, Kendall, what you think about that when you smoke it, bro. I've heard mostly positive reviews for Room 101. I like Room 101. Room 101 is kind of like, I kind of get them and Tatuaje mixed up, because to me, like, when they hit really good. Like, you got the Death Bucket, you got Namakubi, and the Farce. Like, he's done some really, really, really good cigars. But then there's been some others that I smoked, like the 13th anniversary joint. I wasn't really feeling that. I know he does like the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th anniversary, and there was a couple of those that I liked, and a couple of them that I was just like, they alright, you know. So it can be kind of hit and miss, but it was kind of cool. Like Matt Booth out of the blue one day just kind of hit me up and was like, "Hey man, I watch your show. I like it." You know, and that's all he said. And that to me, that's cool. You know, and I got nothing but for Booth, man. Did I follow Brian Glenn when he was on YouTube? He got me into the hobby back in the day. Matt and I were just talking about that because to me, Matt was Cigar Hound Dog is the new Brian Glenn. And I did watch Brian Glenn. I watched him a lot. And I will say I wasn't a huge fan of his personality, but he is really like the godfather of cigar reviews on YouTube, you know, and you can't take that away from him at all. He really is like the dude that kind of really got it started. And I know he was doing it for like a decade, if not more. Um, so he was a wealth of knowledge when it came to cigars. I hated when he would do like that fake Cuban thing all the time, and he would like cut up Cubans because I know he had an Epicure #1 one time that he cut up, and he was proclaiming that it was fake, and that shit was real as hell. I remember being mad watching that one, like you telling everybody this is a fake cigar, and really what you just cut up was a genuine article. But I mean, all in all, man, he kind of did his thing, and he kind of forced his own way out of YouTube. You know, he did that to himself, but I got nothing but respect for what he did. You know, for like really these channels wouldn't exist without him, honestly. So I watched him a lot. I watched him quite a bit. Have you had the white label from Rocky Patel? Did I have the white label? I don't think I had the white label. I don't think. There was a period where I was kind of off Rocky Patel. I kind of felt like he was throwing a lot of cigars at the wall to see what stuck, and you know it was kind of hit or miss. But then he went on that run with the ALR, the ALR2, the 60, the #6, and it was a couple more after that that were just like outstanding. So I got love for Rocky Patel, but I don't think I ever got around to the white label. I don't think. I've smoked so many fucking cigars, man. I don't know. Second shop didn't have much new stuff. Grabbed some Olmecs. Well, you winning, bro. You got the Olmecs, so you good. Hey, man, thank you for taking me shopping, dude. I appreciate that shit. I really think that's cool as hell, yo. I ain't playing. But hey, you came out with some Olmecs, man. Olmecs, so you winning. That Olmec is still so good. All of my like all of my foundation and my sockets and in my humidor. So I haven't been smoking a lot of those recently. I got to pull those out and start dry boxing them. But I've been trying to focus on Rick Rodriguez shit. I've been trying to focus on Lampert. Um, I've been trying to smoke Principal and Osgener. I've been trying to smoke some of the stuff that's newer, just so I can kind of get a feel for, some of the other stuff that's out there. So I haven't been going to my old faithfuls as much. I've been trying to smoke like really good cigars and really trying to like get back into my channel and smoking stuff that I can review for y'all and kind of give opinions so I can make top 10 lists and stuff like that and still have an enjoyable smoke. But really, when it comes down to it, like if I'm just kind of smoking for myself, I would probably be smoking a lot of Lagaleras. I'll be smoking a lot of Crown Heads, and I'll be smoking a lot of Saka, and and a lot of Foundation. That's really where my lane would be, honestly. I got the CAO BX3 coming. I got that one down there too. The only reason why I haven't smoked that because I kind of wanted to do a comparison between the LX2 and the BX3, and I just haven't done it yet. I also want to do LFD, the Soul, and the Lennox. Both of those are really good cigars, and I just want to do a buyer's guide comparison on those. That's the only reason why I haven't smoked those recently. The Lampert Family Reserve. that I had last night was so good. I'm really a big fan of this. Dude, Lampert is killing it right now. That Azul, that Family Reserve, like they on fire right now. Really, they're on fire. Principal is on fire. So you're not going wrong with that one, man. And this is what I was saying earlier. Y'all are smoking like great cigars, man. I just appreciate the fact that y'all are not just smoking some, run of the mill everyday cigars. Y'all going out there to see what's really cracking and what's really dope. It's really some good shit that y'all smoking, man. Like I appreciate y'all palates just as much as anything. Y'all keeping my iron like steel sharp and steel. Y'all keeping me sharp as a motherfucker, man. I love it. Like this like Matt and I talk about it a lot, man. This whole review thing, it's just kind of it's difficult because you're trying to balance like smoking for your enjoyment, and you're trying to balance that with being able to like develop your palate and kind of keep sharp on what's out there and what's new and what's hot and all that kind of stuff too. Because the channels, they can't operate unless you really giving people what they want. And I was really kind of disappointed, man, that Davidoff review that I didn't really take off the way that I wanted to. I think that would have been at like 1K by now. And that AJ Fernandez review didn't really take off like that. I'm hoping that this soccer review that I do tomorrow, when I put that on Monday, I hope that really like takes off in a way that people like really get into it. But I don't know, man. It's kind of hit and miss sometimes, and like I need to get back into doing I Want the Smoke and finish that season 3 up, because the cigars that I got in that lineup, I got the Rick Rodriguez, the Addict lined up. I got the Martinique by Principal lined up. Uh, Trying to think off the top of my head. I got the Lampert 19 what is it, 1890 some 1895 or something, like I think it's the red one. I got that one lined up. Like I got some really good cigars that need to be put out there, man. I just haven't had time to really do it like I want to. The Golden Retailer from Lampert is top 5 for me, and I don't think I've smoked that one yet, bro. I gotta try that one. I gotta see what that's about, because everything that I've had from Lampert right now is like you said, they can be in any top 5 right now. Really, they're on fire. Here's a philosophical question. I love philosophical questions. So, how many cigars is a healthy balance to smoke a week? This is a good question, because I get that quite a bit. It feels sometimes that smoking daily turns the hobby into like a cigarette smoking addiction type. And I feel you on that. I really understand where you're coming from. Me personally, I've been battling with this a lot internally, just from the hygiene level and from the addiction level. I don't smoke every day. I probably personally, I might have, 3 to 4 a week for me. Just that's, but sometimes when I do a live, y'all see I can smoke 2 cigars in one sitting like it's nothing. But I don't really have, I feel like, I smoke like I chain smoke at all. Like, the old saying about Jordan smoking like 6 cigars a day. George Burns, I think he used to smoke like 15 cigars a day or something crazy. Like how, bro? like, I know that was a different time in the 80s and 90s, but like, goddamn, bro, that's a lot of fucking cigars. So I get the philosophical side to that. And that's one that I kind of go back and forth with. Honestly, man, I keep an open mind about it though, because I feel like whatever kind of works for you, if you don't feel like you're obsessing over it, because I can go 2 or 3 days without having a cigar, and what I really miss the most is this right here, or just sitting up on this rooftop and just watching the sunset and enjoying the cigar. It's really hard when the weather is nice not to come up here and smoke a cigar. That's like tough for me. It's really hard, because when I'm chilling and just kicking back, like having a good cigar, or if I'm hanging out with my friends, I just want to have a cigar and a nice drink, and like that's heaven for me. So I don't know if that's a part of it or not. I don't know. It's just kind of tough to to let that go. I don't think I could ever stop with the cigars just because I love that feeling of just having one of your favorite cigars and just sitting back or having a new cigar and experiencing it for the first time. It's hard to get away from that. Peter says 4 to 6 a week is a good balance for me, which I mean I can't knock that at all. And then from not feeling it, I won't even light one. I'm the same way. So I don't feel like it's like cigarettes. Like my homies when I was growing up. I told y'all about money. That motherfucker smoked Newports like like they were going out of style. Like he would just burn through packs of Newports. And I never wanted. I've never in 43 years I've never had a cigarette. I don't plan on having one either. But I hated that, like, during the day, he was like, yo, man, I got to get a cigarette. Yo, I need a cigarette. Yo, I need to, he bought me cigarettes from other people. I ain't never walked down the street like, yo, you got a cigar? Man, let me get a hit of your cigar. Like, I just never wanted to be that, I just never wanted to get in that vibe. So I feel like with cigars, I don't think the addiction level is that high. So I don't know. I just think we all going to run the risk of mouth cancer or jaw cancer, or throat cancer somewhere down there. It's a possibility, but it may not happen either. I mean, most of us aren't inhaling cigars, so I don't know. I don't think it's really that much of a threat health wise. The FDA says you can smoke 10 cigars per day. God damn, word. If that's the case, I'm good then, because I ain't even getting close. I think the most I've had in one day was probably maybe 4 or 5 in a day. I don't see myself making that a habit. Nah, we didn't freeze up. I don't think we did anyway, but it's possible. But I think I just paused for a second just so I could keep the cigar lit and take a puff. Uh, if you know, you know, my man. He said, "I want to stay around. I want to stay around 3 to 4 a week. That seems like a cool balance. That'll let me enjoy the smoke without risking addiction." Word, and that's kind of where I sit at. So I feel that, and I think that's generally the norm for most people. But you got those people that can, if they probably, in a shop and they probably smoking all day long. Or I can only imagine what some of the blenders are smoking per day. Blending cigars, or if you're rolling cigars, they're probably smoking hella. And if you got a collection like Peter, I'm amazed that you only smoke 4 to 6. And anytime that I light one up, I never feel like I have to finish the whole thing. Truth be told, I rarely ever get into the final third of most of my cigar. Word. I think that's kind of interesting. And for me, it's rare that if I put a cigar out, usually that means I didn't like it. And that's kind of like a telltale sign. Like if you look at my ashtray and it's a half a cigar, it's either gonna be one like this, where it just like the RH on it wasn't right, or it's gonna be like I didn't like the cigar. Like Blackbird, the last time I smoked Blackbird, I put that cigar out. I just wasn't feeling it. I don't like it, and I put it out. The last SAR, I know I put that out halfway through. I just thought that cigar was trash. I didn't like it. I put it out. So if I put out a cigar halfway, that's usually, like, for me, it's a sign that I just wasn't feeling that motherfucker. Um, Sam said same here. For what I paid for mine, I got another. Word up. Especially being out there in Saudi, bro. I know you're not playing. I'm gonna look like DJ Drama for a minute here. I'm gonna turn my hat like this. But yeah, man, it's that's another thing. Especially like so many people have sent me cigars and gifted cigars to the channel, and I appreciate everybody that's taking the time out to do that. So it's very rare that I don't finish a cigar. It's extremely rare. Let me purge this one. Keep putting comments up, y'all. I'm here for another at least, I don't know what, 15, 20 minutes or so, I guess. when I'm done, I'm gonna go down there and play some NBA 2K though. I know that's what I'm about to do. I just bought NBA 2K for like $7, so I'm burning that shit up. I won't pay full price for that bitch. I know that. Let's see what we got. What we got? Uh, Fractal up in this joint. What up, Fractal? Let's see here. Yeah, I research at least research at least shows that the risk of getting cancer is pretty low if you have 1 to 2 cigars per day, only slightly higher than non-smokers. Oh, okay, well, I'll take that. I like the feedback that y'all giving from the FDA and the research. That means I'm gonna keep smoking and enjoying my cigars. It's usually a time commitment. Oh, dude, I feel you on the time commitment. I feel you on that. Like I honestly feel bad when I'm sitting out here, especially like if I'm smoking like an Andalusian Bull or a Sakakan that can go on damn near forever. A lot of the LFDs smoke forever, so I totally feel you on that. I buy a lot of large sticks, and I just don't have 2 hours. Word, like those slow burners, the El Oso, you can sit out here for 2 hours on one cigar for damn sure. And I'm a fast smoker. Prices are getting insane in Europe, and Cohibas are now anywhere from $70 to $150 per stick. I would be just playing on PlayStation, and I probably wouldn't be smoking cigars, man. Like in Canada and in Europe, man, I don't know how y'all doing it right now, man. That shit is crazy. It's insane. I'm not paying that much for a bunch of tobacco rolled up, man. I'm not doing it. New Worlds hover around $40 to $50 max for unlimited Opus X. And here's the thing: I like Opus, but I don't like them that much. I love Fuente. I love Fuente cigars, but give me a Don Carlos over Opus X any day. I'm definitely not paying that much for that shit. And Jerome said, "Now you know I wouldn't be me if I didn't troll, but hit me out." Okay, where you about to go, man? What the hell are you about to say? You know I love this shit, man. Let's get it. But yeah, like I feel you on that, Sam. Like it's rough for people in Australia, Canada, and in Europe right now. Like just being a cigar lover in those areas, it's like torture, bro. Like y'all are really going through it right now, and I can only say like how much I feel for you, and just I don't know like how that works as far as like just buying online from a lot of from like a lot of the US sites. Can y'all like pay for like the US price and then get it shipped to you? It might take a while, like with the shipping and all that, but can you pay without like getting taxed to death? Like, does that work? Because it might be different for me since I can ship to a US address here. So like when I buy them online, like I don't have to go through Japanese customs because Japanese taxes on cigars will eat you alive. But but if I buy cigars here in Japan with the yen being so low, it really doesn't hit you in the pocket so much. So I don't know how that works for y'all being able to buy US sites. So let me know how that works. So Jerome is talking about Gurkha. So let's see what this is. He said the Gurkha cellar reserves are actually decent cigars. All the other Gurkhas are under the sink burners. They were saying the same thing about whatever the Ghost was too. Those motherfuckers make so many cigars that I'm not shocked and I'm not surprised. Hey, if I got it, I'll try it. But I ain't buying that motherfucker, yo. and I trust your palate, man. I trust that what you're saying about the cellar reserves might be pretty good. Hey, it's possible. They got so many different blends. They got to hit on at least a few of them somewhere in there. But it's just one of those things, man. There's certain brands that I just don't really rock with. Like it's rare that you will see me with a Gurkha, with Christoph, with Diesel, Caldwell, Blackbird. It's a couple of us out there that, I did a whole video on just like those brands that I just don't rock with, man. And Gurkha is definitely in there. So I'll take your word for it. I'll trust your opinion. I know you got a good palate, but hey, if we ever link up and you got a Gurkha, I'll smoke one with you. But the chances of me going out there and putting my dime into Gurkha, I'm not gonna be able to do it. So I've yet to smoke a Cuban. I had a few that were gifted to me, but I'm not sure I would pay those prices. And I feel you on that. And I was thinking too, man. I'm trying to put like all of these boxes together, and I'm trying to go out like and buy a whole bunch of Cubans out here so I can just send them out to people, man. So in time, I'll do that. I don't know what you were gifted, Peter. I don't know if you ever got like a Trinidad, or if you got a Ramon Alones, if you got a Quay Dorsey. I think it's well worth it to light them up, because I really, especially that Quay Dorsey, especially that Ramon Alones, I really think you would love those, man. I think they'll be like some of your go-tos. He said, I absolutely understand everyone's beef with Gurkhas, but their Southern Reserves are nice. I like that you put your flag down on that, and that you standing pat, and that you truly believe that. My hat is off to you, but not gonna be able to do it. I don't know, man. I've really been trying to have this mindset that I'm gonna keep an open mind to like all cigars, and I'm gonna try a little bit of everything, even the brands that I don't like. So but I got a lot of cigars that's in that humidor that need to be smoked right now, and I think I'll stick to some of those first. And Fractal said, and the sad thing is that the selection here is pretty limited for the bigger brands. I think my man from, is he from Cyprus? My man Pan, PT was saying that the selections are limited out there too. And it's kind of the same here in Japan too, because like if you were just going out, if it's not a Cuban, you got Placencia, Davidoff, Fuente, and Drew Estate. Outside of that, like, you just can't go out and just get a lot of Rocky Patel is out here too, but that's really what your selection is going to be, and that's kind of frustrating, and that's just kind of a tough place to be in when you really like, it's so many cool brands that are out there, and not having the option in the UK to really get your hands on it is kind of frustrating. Hassan was saying, being from the UK and smoking a lot of Cubans, in my opinion, they are overrated to a degree, and I'm really gonna get into that. I really need to finish up this show so I can do that for y'all. And I think it'll be a good topic just for the comment section and for the live. Good but not amazing. There are some amazing Cubans though. That's kind of what I want to point out. There are some really amazing Cubans, but he said he prefers Rocky Patel, Placencia, EP Carrillo, etc. And I get it. And a lot of these new world brands, especially like some of these boutique cats, are killing it right now. And the diversity in the flavor profiles, and being able to use Brazilian leaves and Costa Rican and Honduran and Nicaraguan and all this kind of stuff, and really being able to mix all that together, your palette is so expansive. There's so many different options and so many different flavors. So you can go for Cavalier. You can go for like the sweet and spicy. You can get the creamy, and you can get the chocolatey joints and all that. Like, it's so you don't get that all the time with the Cubans. A lot of them, that Corojo is so distinct, and that Criollo is so distinct that you're getting a lot of that that cedar, and then you get those vegetal notes. I loved having that. But when you compare that to all the different options that you get with the new worlds, like you got Principal using like Zimbabwean tobacco and shit like that. Like, it's so many different options out there. I can see why, your eyes will be looking at the other pasture and seeing how much greener it is over there. I totally understand it. My man Kendall just said I just smoked my last Romeo Juliet, a short Churchill Cuban. I like those, man. They're good, but to me, they're not like the end all be all, but they're definitely solid, you know. So it's time to re up, homeboy. He said my go to for Cuban for beginners is the Partagas D4. Yeah, that Partagas Series D, man. The last time I was at a lounge when I did that, that wasn't the last time I was at a lounge, but when I did the one at the Rock and Roll Lounge, the one I did the video for, that Partagas Series D that I had, man, I was in love with that cigar for that moment. Like it was just perfect for that moment. And I love those vegetal notes, man. It's nice and it's so unique. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like certain Cuban flavors you're not gonna get anywhere else. That part of the Series D is just, you know, it's like a quintessential Cuban. So good. And Peter said, "Yo, Peter, light up those D4s, man. Honestly, like it really is a special Cuban cigar, man. It really is so good." He said, Hassan said, "Let me know the amazing Cubans would love to try. Has some Cohibas, H. Upmans, and those are solid. I like those, but for me, and I know I sound like a broken record. I probably do this on every live, but I want people to know where to go, and I'm gonna expound on all of this. But Bolivar, Ramona Lones, Trinidad, Quay Dorsey, Partagas are like, especially that Series D, like those are like money. Oh, and my favorite all time is the Oyo de Monterey. Um, no, not the Oyo de Monterey, but the Monte Cristo number 4 and number 2. Hands down, my favorite. That number 2 is just. I don't even think I have an adjective to say how good that is. You get the tea flavors in there, you get the sweetness, you get that natural tobacco, but you also get that Cuban vegetal. It's just you get a chocolate note. God damn it, that thing is so good, so good. Let's see. Johnny Cigar said chinchale. That chinchale is crazy. The floral note on that cigar mixed with the spices in there is bananas. That's one of my favorites for sure. The Wayfarer. I don't even think I know that one. I gotta make a mental note of that. El Septimo Sinistro. Sinistro is banging. It's so hard for me to get Sinistro. Um, and I want to smoke a lot more of those. I really want to get my hands on those. The only Cubans that struck a chord with me were the Monte number 2s and the Upman Connoisseur B. Yeah, those are bangers. Those are absolute bangers. And I will scream from the top of a roof where I am right now to everybody to know that they need to have a Monte number 2 at least once. Like it's mandatory. Like that cigar, that's going on my like all time list. And that Connoisseur is a banger too. So I feel you on that one. Once you try El Septimo, you will forget about the Cubans. How long does a care package take from the U.S.? Normally, it only takes about a week and a half, maybe 2, just kind of depending on how busy they are. But you know, Peter's been having a hard time getting some stuff to me. Um, Kendall just sent me a package of some tea that I'm going to be trying out really soon, and I don't think it took that long to get to me. I think it was a little bit of a hold up just because the box number wasn't there, but it doesn't take that long. It doesn't take that long. Let's see. Fraggle said recently had a punch short. They punch. Oh yeah. The punch is money. That's you know it's funny that you brought that up, Fraggle, because I always forget about the punches, and I've been talking recently about the New World Punch that is like surprisingly good, but the punch is a really good Cuban. It's not gonna be like in that top list that I was mentioning earlier, but it's definitely one that like it's definitely, and I love the Vitola I think it's definitely one that should be mentioned. So I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know why I forget that one so often. The H Umpin number 2 got a cigar of the year from Cigar Aficionado. If that means anything, that means absolutely nothing to me. Yo, here's why I say that. They just gave the the Blacken, that Metallica cigar. What is it? The M81 or whatever that shit is. Like in a 95. Get the flying fuck out of here. It ain't no way you telling me that cigar is a 95. And then they gave EP Carrillo's Allegiance a 94. And they've been like promoting the fuck out of those two cigars. Ain't no way those shits are in the mid 90s. No, 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 no. Like, I used to be one of those cats that was like, I had a subscription to CA, and I would go through and I'm reading through on it, but all that shit is run by dollars, man, and it's all payola. So I take that shit with a grain of salt right now, and you're not gonna see Sinistro in there. You're not gonna see Saka. They just really started putting Placencia and Foundation in there, and I don't know, man. I don't want to be like some old cigar snob type cat. I don't want to do that or be that at all. I'm trying to make sure my mic is still on. I don't want to do that or be it all at all. But like I hate the pay game in this cigar thing, man. And it's just like it's no way that. And I know cigars are subjective. I understand that, and I really try to be balanced with that. But I see through that shit, yo. That shit's paper thin. God damn it, went out again. But I don't know. One thing about CA, they always gonna show love to Cubans, and it's good that they mentioned a lot of the Cubans in there. But I just kind of feel like for not and really not to pat myself on the back. I'm not doing that. Somebody was in my comments the other day, and he was saying that that the new wave, we're smoking a lot of the same cigars and that we're getting redundant. And the reason why we're doing that is that we're trying to like be like we're self-important and pat ourselves on the back. You're not getting that from me at all. I was trying to figure like, I'm like, dude, where are you getting that from? But I feel like for the cigar reviewers in general, I think it's a lot better to kind of like, because we're not getting paid for this, like the fact that y'all sent like those super thanks was huge to the channel, but that's $24. That's not what we're not getting paid in ads or anything like that. We're really just we're smoking the cigars and we're giving our honest opinion. Somebody like myself and Michael Prisdale, we're pretty much just telling you what we think. Stick guys, just telling you what you think. Smoke what you like. Smoke one if you got them. All the different cigar reviewers that are out there, we're just smoking these cigars and telling you what our opinions are, and really giving you like our honest feedback from what we're doing in our research and what we're doing with the cigars that we're smoking. That level of integrity has not been infiltrated yet with getting paid off. There are no ads up here or anything like that. So I really think that we're kind of like really where you should go. Don't just come to my channel. Go to every cigar reviewer that's out there that you really feel like is being genuine. And I think you're going to get a lot better feedback than you would in some magazine that has an antiquated view of cigars and really is just kind of like looking out for their homeboys and or looking out for the person that is already a superstar. Some spiky hair dude that wearing his glasses on the back of his head. And they're giving you a lot of love because you've been on the Food Network and shit like that. That shit's just crazy to me. It's really frustrating, to be honest. Like, Jerome was saying to break down the payola thing, for me personally, I rock with EP Carrillo. I like a lot of his blends. I don't like all of them. The La Historia, the Encore, the Pledge, I thought were phenomenal cigars. But when you go through the ad, when you go through the books and you see the ads, they got these huge, page ads, and then the next thing you know, this cat is winning, cigar of the year or top two or whatever, over and over again. And every time you see him, he goes for like they give him like a 98 for a cigar, and then they'll give him like a 94, and then they'll go up like to a 96 or whatever, like and it's obvious that the money for those ads and the people who are paying to promote their cigars in that magazine are getting the biggest names. And that Metallica cigar, like this is because it's Metallica. This is celebrity, so they know people follow celebrities. Same thing with that knuckle sandwich and all that kind of stuff. They're getting all these praise and they're putting all these cigars in the top, and it's just like all of these cigars over here, from Foundation, um, from Warped, from Black Label, whomever, um, Hoya de Nicaragua. Like it's all these different companies and different brands out here that are making bangers and making consistent bangers, and they'll be at the bottom of the barrel and they're getting 80s and 90s and whatever. And then you got these cigars that are have these ads, and then they're the ones that's going number one. All right, Peter. Thanks for joining in, bruh. And I saw you send me a message, so I'm gonna check that too. I just didn't want to fuck up this live by doing that. It's just you can see that the money is kind of ruling the magazine, and they're trying to stay afloat because that magazine was about to go under. Because you don't have to go to these magazines anymore because you got cigar reviewers, you got people online, and it's just affecting the way that the cigar industry is just kind of being run right now. Money rules the world, and I can't knock them for making their money. I can't front on them. It is what it is. It's just I take everything with a grain of salt, if that makes sense. He said the commenter sounds like a Cuban elitist. I don't know if he was. I've seen him. In a lot of, because even if I'm not responding, when I'm watching other people's videos and I'm watching other people's reviews and stuff, I'm looking at the comments, and y'all notice, like, when y'all comment on my channel, just not just with the lives, but also just kind of in general, uh, I comment back. And like, so when y'all say something to me, I try to respond to everybody. If I see it, I try to respond to it. And I'm also like reading other people's comments. I like to see what people are thinking. I like to see what people's insights are. And this dude, I've just seen him a lot, just kind of like trolling and doing a lot, just doing the most. And sometimes, like, if you go to Pick Jimmy's page, or if you go to Cigar Hound Dog's page, they get a lot of like people that are blatantly trolling and just saying their palate is off, or like they're not tasting what they're tasting, or saying that they suck and all this kind of stuff. I'm thankful for the people that comment and view my channel. I rarely ever get that kind of comment. I rarely ever get people just talking shit. I don't know what it is about me or about my channel that the people who watch the channel, all y'all show love. 17 likes right now, 12 people in on a live, early in the morning for y'all, late at night here for me. That's love, man. And the comments that I usually get are generally, I would say literally like 98% are positive. But every now and then you get a dude like that that's just trying to get a rise out of people, you know. So he could be some elitist, but honestly, the way he came off to me, it didn't really seem like that to me. It just seems like he's just one of those people that, he's a keyboard warrior. And you get people that just like to talk shit. They're anonymous, so they just want to see, like, how you can get a rise out of people. But I think a lot of people forget that we're human beings too. Like, we're putting a lot of time and effort into making content for viewers. We put a lot of effort into it, but we got daily lives. We got feelings, and just like anybody else. And after a while, some of that shit started to get to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just you don't got to be nasty just for the sake of being nasty, but you get that. No, and you don't come off like an elitist at all. You were flexing earlier, like you was really flexing. But that, to me, that's all in good fun. Like you really appreciate the cigars that you smoke. You smoke good cigars. That's not an elitist at all. And I love Cubans too. And that's what I want to talk about when I do that show on Cubans, man. I want to, I want to demystify Cubans, but I also want people to really appreciate it. That like not all Cuban cigars have construction issues. Not all of them have quality issues, and they're not all going to be, the magic cigar that's going to change your world when you smoke a Cuban cigar. But there are great Cubans. Oh, okay, I misunderstood. Like, originality is key in a reviewer. Having 5 reviews of the same cigar to the public seems to be clubbish and your ego stroking. Just an observation. Constructive criticism. But it really wasn't that at all, man. And I feel you. And what I was trying to say then, we weren't. We didn't have like a powwow just to be like, hey, let's review the cigar. Let's all do this at the same time, and let's get this out. Or like, I'm gonna review this, and I'm coming right behind you, and that type of thing. It really was happenstance. It was really all coincidence. And I know it's all love, man. I appreciate you for being here too. And it really wasn't one of those things where we were just like, we gotta highlight this, or we gotta pat ourselves on the back. That wasn't there, man. It really was. We were really on. It just so happened that when I was making that review, we were talking about the cigar in general, and Matt sent that cigar out to us, and it was just like, hey, man, I love this cigar. I think it's going to be great. I had it for a long time. I hadn't had a chance to review a lot of the cigars. I got a whole lineup that I want to do for I Want to Smoke. Everything that I do for my show is already mapped out and planned out. Like with the Cuban review that I want to do, it's going to be more like an essay. When I do that, this is already mapped out. I got like notes and notes of stuff that I've already been working on. So it's not me trying to be like, my head is not getting big or anything like that. But, I think we all kind of take it seriously. But then the other side that you got to think of is like when these cigars come out, we're trying to give you what's new and what's fresh and what's out there. So when, say for instance, with the Olmec, not the Olmec, but what was the Osgener, when that came out, that's a new cigar. So if everybody's getting a new cigar and reviewing the new cigar, you're not just going to see it from us. The other cigar reviewers, I've seen multiple reviews for the Aromas, and that shit's just going to happen. It just so happened that when I did that, Michael was doing his review, and I'm like, oh shit, yo, I'm doing this one now too. So I feel you, and I appreciate constructive criticism, bro. So bring that on. That just it didn't come off like constructive criticism during that comment, though. That's not what that felt like at that moment. He said, when is that show? I got Particus saved for that. I'm gonna try to get that show out this week. So have that Particus dry box. I'm doing my best to get that done. Hopefully by Friday, y'all time. I have to do this soccer review that I'm gonna do tomorrow, and then I got a busy week, but I think I got enough time that I can get that out. I don't have to smoke a cigar for that review or for that essay, so I should just be able to get that out. I'm gonna try my damnedest to get that out by the end of the week. So I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted on that one. And I'll try to do something in the community, say that review is coming, because I've been talking about that for at least a month right now, at least a month. And I did the whole series on Cuban cigars. I did like the Cuban cigars, and I did another top 10 about Cubans. And this was supposed to be the trilogy, and this was supposed to be the final episode to that trilogy. I've been so busy, and I've been dealing with life shit that I just haven't been able to get the reviews out the way I wanted to. But if y'all notice on the channel, between the shorts and between the recent reviews, I've been trying to hype it up. I've been trying to push this so we can get to 3K. I've just been trying to push that so that y'all know that I'm still doing reviews and I'm still doing my top tens and I'm still, trying to get good content out to you. So be patient with me, man. I'm sorry that I'm scrambling. I swear I'm trying. The Sturdy Lads do a good job. I need to watch them a lot more, man. For whatever reason, they don't pop up in my algorithm, but I've seen a couple of their shows and I like it too. With keeping it 100 and what's going on in the Cuban market concerning price hikes. And see, I love shows like that are really informative. That like they really do have a good show. I feel you on that. It was in response to the other guy's comment. No dig on you. Uh, look for the leaders like D Love. Here's the thing. Like I was laughing when you said that. Like y'all know D Love is my guy. That is my dude. I always joke about him, being Dr. Claw. But when you were kind of saying like, patting yourself on the back, if anybody's gonna pat themselves on the back, it's D Love. And that's why I was laughing. I'm just like, I I love D Love, man. That's my dude, and I don't know where he is. I need to send him a message. I haven't talked to him in a while. I hope he's good. Hope the wife is good too. But I really wanted to know where you were coming from when you were just like saying like these guys are patting themselves on the back. I just didn't get that. It didn't make sense to me. So maybe I did completely misunderstand. But just the way that was phrased, bro, I was just like, what? How? When? Where? But I feel you. And I just didn't get that one. Sam, thank you for being for day one, man. Thank you for hanging in. I only got like a little bit of nerve myself, so I'm gonna be signing off soon. But we're gonna smoke this one down to the nub. So what else y'all got? Yeah, but the reason why I'm stuck on that is because when you kind of look at it from a standpoint, it's like kind of being like you patting yourself on the back. It's like self-importance, and like, and we were saying that we're like it was like a club thing, but that really wasn't it. And I was just trying to clarify that wasn't it, man. That wasn't. It really wasn't like we're trying to be in like some cool club. It's funny because the new wave in general. Then to be honest with you, I'm not really a fan of the name, the new wave. I wouldn't have come up with that name myself because I didn't want it to seem because it could seem like we're being like self-important, even though I do feel like we're trying to be a movement where we're trying to keep the integrity under cigar reviews, and we really are just friends who smoke cigars together, and that's what we try to incorporate when we're doing the lives together. Like we're really just shooting the shit and talking movies and talking junk and talking cigars. But I just think with the personality of the five of us in general, especially John. John is probably one of the most humble, down to earth cats that I deal with just on a day to day basis. I just like talking to that brother just in general and just having that philosophical side and just talking family and stuff like that. He just really is a good dude. And when we're talking like shit in the group chat, he's really just kind of laid back and he's not doing that at all. We wanted to kind of start a movement and kind of push things together, but didn't want to make it seem like we were just trying to like shove a certain cigar onto our viewers or something like that. It's just we're really gonna say, hey, let's smoke this cigar and let's see what it's about. But we never planned for it to be all of us doing it at one time. That just kind of happens with cigars when you're smoking whatever's new and whatever's hot and that's out there. That was just by chance. So if you know, so are y'all into crypto? So what do y'all think about the CEO from BlackRock, world's biggest asset manager, saying Bitcoin will overtake all currencies? Dude, I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't know how this is gonna work for the live, but I will try to expound on that as much as I can. And I'm not some like crypto guru by any chance, but I remember in like 2013, maybe 2012, 2013, I was a dishwasher and I was a line cook, and I was working in this restaurant, and I was working at my homeboy's restaurant washing dishes for him. I was working two jobs at the time, and I was listening to a lot of podcasts, and especially like a lot of libertarian podcasts at the time, and they were heavy. Uh, they were heavy on Bitcoin at that time, and this is when you still had to go mine for Bitcoin on the computer, and you had to build your own computer and do all this other kind of shit. And this is when they were really making this currency solely to be anti-dollar. They were trying to be anti just paper money, and they're like, you can buy whatever you want on the black market, you can buy whatever you want on the internet by using this virtual coin. And they were just like, we're trying to be off the grid type thing, da 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 da. And I remember like that buzz when it was happening in 2013. And I remember thinking at the time, like, maybe I want to kind of get on that and kind of get into this whole crypto thing. But then when it actually took off and it became something like they really pushed this movement to the point where it was becoming like a major currency. It was kind of ironic to me because I felt like, you're becoming exactly what you were saying you were against. And then you had that whole, day trader boom when everybody was jumping in and they got into the stock market and it went up. And I saw that it was a bubble. I wish at the time I had hopped on it when I did, just so I could cash out on it. But I don't ever see it becoming anything where it's going to take over the dollar. I just don't see how it's going to work in that point that it's going to be, something that's going to be sustainable. And I think if they're going to keep it where it was supposed to be originally, if it's just going to be anti-dollar and it was going to be money that you could keep and use on the black market and use in the underground, I thought it was a brilliant idea. But as far as being like something that's going to overtake the dollar, I don't think anybody's going to trust invisible money. I just don't think I don't think it's ever going to work. It's hard enough, like with everything going on a card and tap to pay and all that other kind of stuff. I just don't see it. But I'm just a dude on the roof smoking cigars, man. I don't know. I don't know how that's really going to work out in the long term. I just don't. I think that when that shit crashed and basically went to shit, Bitcoin doesn't really have much of a value right now, But who knows what the future is going to hold? I just don't see that sustaining itself. Yeah, Jerome, I kind of feel you on that one. I mean, Bitcoin is going to Bitcoin be. Let's see, XRP just won their landmark case with the SEC, so we'll see from there. We're gonna see what happens, man. I'm not trying to act like I'm brilliant with this shit. I'm not the smartest dude in the world when it comes to all this shit. But just from a observer at the distance, I don't see how far this is gonna go. He and the company were very negative towards crypto. Now it seems they're running it, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of weird to me when you got all these people that were shitting on it, or saying they were going to be anti-dollar, and then it becomes the same thing that they were ranting against. That's kind of scary to me. I don't really seeing that working out that way. BlackRock CEO was talking crap about Bitcoin a while back, and now he's saying different. So he must know something. I feel you on that, D. But to me, one thing that I did see was like people were hyping this thing up, and they were building this bubble, and people made a shit ton of money. And then with the insider trading and shit like that, people knew when to sell and knew when to get out of it. And a lot of people who didn't have that inside information lost a whole lot of, like, they lost fortunes. I had a good friend of mine who was like, he was pumping Bitcoin everywhere, and he was showing off all of his jewelry. He was showing off all the stuff that he was buying. And now I don't hear shit from him. When that shit crashed and burned, that motherfucker disappeared. So a lot of people were just kind of, pumping this shit. They made their dough, and either they lost it all or they dropped it. So you got these people who are switching their tune, who could be hyping it up, trying to get that groundswell again, trying to get it, to go up in stock. And it's just going to go up. Somebody going to make $1 billion, and then it's going to crash. Other people are going to lose millions. It's a scary thing, bro. It really is a scary thing. The reverse bait and switch. Yeah, that's what I feel too, Jerome. So I don't know, man. Y'all can't go based on me with that. One thing that I'm not is rich. So I can, for sure say that, I'm not the one to talk about money and all that kind of stuff, man. I'm just a poor artist, man. And I've always been that. I've just been that guy that just like to create and, you know, smoke good cigars, watch sports, and have a good family life, man. So I don't know. I don't have a Beamer. I don't have a G wagon. I don't have a ton of money in the bank. I got enough that my kids are fed. They got clothes on their back, and I got a dope place in Japan, and I'm surviving. So I don't know. For me, whatever is gonna make an economy work in the sense that we don't have any people who are poor. We don't have people struggling, and we don't have you know a, a, a a small percentage of people who are a billion and trillionaires, and you got a lot of people who can't um, afford to put food on the table. As long as we're able to combat that, I'm fine. But I don't see it going that way. I see a lot of people just making a whole bunch of money, and a whole bunch of people losing a bunch of money. We said that crash wiped the rookies out. I cashed out at 60K when it went to 69 before the fall, and that's a good little turnaround right there, man. And I know people that made more than that, and I know people that lost a whole lot more than that. And I don't know, man. I'm just not the type that can gamble with my dough like that. Jerome said there's a Netflix documentary on how boys lost a lot of money with that Bitcoin, where dude had a lot of people invest in his exchange and then hit him with the good old oldie wapty. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Man, I saw it happen to a lot of people, man. So I think that says Tail Dagger said, what brought me to Japan. Um, I try to give the most simple answer to this as I can. I was a butcher. My wife was out of work, and she had just graduated from college. She wanted to get into the fashion industry, and she went for a job with the Navy, working on fashion lines and selling clothes for the Navy. And she just happened to get the job. And when she got the job, she had a homeboy that was living out here in Japan. It was like, yo, your job just opened up here. We had moved to California from the East Coast to California. And a homeboy that was in the management team with her was like, hey, your job just opened up. You should come out here and work with me. You guys could spend some time in Japan and just kind of see what it's like. She went for the job and got it. And we packed up the kids, got rid of the pets, put them in a new home, and moved out here to Japan. We've been out here ever since. So we work for the military. We're completely civilian, and we're basically on a contract out here, um, just enjoying life and enjoying Japan, man. And she got a great job. We're well taken care of, and that's that. I hope that makes sense. That's like the most simplified answer I can give without giving out too much pertinent information and without like making it so long that it's boring. Speaking of which, if the wife gets another offer to another overseas assignment, country wise, where would we like to go next? We've been talking about that a lot, man. It's pretty much anywhere there's a naval base that we have an opportunity to go. We've been looking at Naples in Italy. We've looked at Rota, Spain. We've looked at Bali, Bahrain, Singapore, Hawaii. Those are some places that were on the map that we would like to go. Um, But honestly, right now, I don't want to leave Japan. To be for real, you know, we got another opportunity that is stationed here in Japan. That's a little bit further south, a lot further south actually. So I don't know. Like I honestly, I don't know what the future holds. And yeah, like you said, all those places are nice, man. There's some really cool options. It's just the tough part is I got a niece and nephew that's in North Carolina right now. My oldest daughter is in North Carolina. My sister-in-law is in New York, and they're trying to get us to come out there. And so my other niece is in New York, and then all my wife's family is in Cali. And we've been away from our family for 4 years now. So like I love being out here, but being that far away from from family is tough. So we might end up back in the States. I don't know, but for right now, I'm happy where we are. Yeah, come visit, man. I've been trying to tell people, like, if y'all come out to Japan, man, we going to a lounge. I'm gonna take you around Tokyo, and we're gonna kick it like Goodfellas. So I've been trying to get people, if y'all come out here. As a matter of fact, I got a homeboy that when I was telling you, back in 2013, that I was when I was a line cook. He was working saute, and we still cool to this day. And he gonna be out here in Japan soon, so I'm gonna kick it with him, man. It's just one of those things that, like, I'm here. If y'all ever come to Japan, I'm trying to kick it. So let's do it. The mining fees tied to the halving will make BTC fall. Other projects like ADA, ETH, and Matic will carry the crypto to the future. Dude, it's been so many different coins out there that everybody's saying it's going to take off. If this does take off, it's not going to be in the near future at all. Shouts out to everybody that hit that like button, man. I'm amazed at how many of y'all did that. It's just one of those things that's like, I think with all those different coins, it's also kind of like it's harder to figure out who to trust. So they're kind of killing each other. Like all these coins are kind of eating themselves up. Like it's kind of cannibalistic in a way. Shouts out to my smoke spot, man. I can't front, man. I love it up here, man. So and I really try to do this. I try to make the show so y'all can kind of feel what it was like to be up here on the rooftop with me. That's why, like, when I first started doing I Want to Smoke, my whole thing was like, all right, well, welcome to the rooftop. This is like my lounge. This is where y'all come in and just hang out with me, man. This view, like, this camera doesn't do it justice. And that's not me patting myself on the back. I see you, Johnny. It's one of those things where this is just like I'm really at peace up here, man. It's just a cool spot. So I just want y'all to enjoy it with me. And Tokyo is lit, bro. And there's some really cool places out here. Shibuya, Shinjuku, Minoto Marai, Taito. Like, it's so many real cool spots. Harajuku. Like, it's like you don't really realize like how big Tokyo is. Like, the other week we went to the Tokyo Tower, and I just took the wife and the kids out there, man, and we went up, to the top floor on that motherfucker, and Tokyo just goes on forever. It's just building after building, and you don't see anything but concrete. So, like, even when you go up to the observation towers in New York City, it looks nothing like Tokyo. Tokyo is yeah. Tokyo is bananas how big it is, yo. It's really surreal. They were saying that Japan is one of the safest places to live. A lot of people from the States are moving to Japan to raise their children. And that's the thing, man. Johnny, that's one of the reasons why I'm so happy here, man, because my kids can just, if they go out and meet the other kids in the neighborhood, they walk home from the school bus. I don't worry about them. You can literally drop your wallet here, and somebody will put it up where you can come back and get it. And if you lose items, like, I lost a part of my car one time, like, driving, and the joint fell off. I came back 2 days later, and they had it on the side of the road right where it fell off, and I just came back, put it back on the car, and kept rolling. I lost a hat and some glasses when we went to a temple, and we were just walking around the temple. We came back Because I gave my son my hat and my glasses, and he dropped that shit somewhere. And I came back, it was sitting on a statue, just waiting for us. When we walked out, it was sitting right there. So it's really safe. I mean, just like anywhere, there's gonna be some kind of crime, but I'm not worried about going to a school. I'm not worried about going to a church or a concert and getting shot up. The most you really got to worry about out here is just like when you go out clubbing or whatever. There's some, cats that are called touts that are on the streets that are trying to get you into their clubs, and they're trying to get you in to drink, and then they rob you, and you really got to worry about that. But even then, they crack down on that. So like I was out in Harajuku the other day, and they got all these signs up like no more touts. So they really cleared all those people out. So you don't have to worry about that anymore, man. It's really a safe country, and that's part of the reason why I'm happy here. Let's see. You're right. So many coins lead to scamming. Nothing going on my portfolio without a real usage example. Vet and Walmart and BMW partnerships. Yeah, that's what I mean. And even still with that, like they got a partnership with all the stuff that they were railing against at first, man. But you really got to vet it. So it's smart that you're doing that, man. That you're not like just jumping on a whole bunch of things out there because it's people losing a shit ton of money. Let's see. Tokyo Tower got its own emoji. You know what I mean? It's lit out here, bro. I got a keychain with that motherfucker up there too. yo, dude. So I know you're laughing at the car thing, but it's funny. I got rid of that car too, by the way. But the real cool thing about it, like, it's so many military people that PCS and leave here, and they gotta leave so far, they gotta leave so fast that they'll sell their car for like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, and you can get a decent car. It could be like a little tiny Japanese car, or it could be a BMW, it could be a Skyline, it could be whatever. And you get these cars for next to nothing. And then people are like, if they barely owned it and barely drove it. But I just so happen like these streets are so small here, and like the parking spaces are so small that like I scraped the side of my car, like the bumper thing came off. So it was just funny that I'm riding down the street and that motherfucker fell off. I get to the army base, in the military base, not the army base, but I get to the military base. I'm like, yo, where the fuck is my where the fuck is my guard on my car? That shit is gone. And I came back, and the motherfucker was still there 2 days later. That's Japan for you, man. You gotta love this shit. Johnny said, can you PM me your address so I can send a little package? We got to pat each other on the back. My man, no doubt. Yeah, let's do that. Matter of fact, when you get a chance, since it's hard for me to do that right now, just shoot me a PM and we'll chop it up, man. It's all love, dude. It ain't no love lost at all, man. It's all love. Let's see. That's for Little D. Let's see, lemon lots. I know all about all about it. Yeah, shoot, where you are, they're probably doing the same thing out there too. But it's funny, man. It's like a lot of the cars are like mad cool. There was this African cat out here named Phil that he be selling mad cars. He got me with the new car that I just got, man. I had to get new spark plugs on that motherfucker. I got no acceleration. I got one of them little Jeeps. What is it, a Pajero or something like that? Mitsubishi Pajero. I love that little car, man, but I got no acceleration in that motherfucker at all, dude. But yeah. But my homegirl, she just got the homegirl that I just went to see today. She just got a 2010 Beamer. That shit nice as hell, man. That shit look brand spanking new. That shit gorgeous. That shit is so fucking nice. We were doing like 160 coming back from Yokohama today, just floating, on the interstate. It's just good shit, man. Nah, dude, I think the entire time that I've been here for the 4 years, I've probably seen 5 manual shifts max. But really, I couldn't imagine trying to drive a stick shift out here, especially in my neighborhood. Like, you can see how high I am. Like, I'm on a mountain right now. My neighborhood is called Sakurayama. And that is Cherry Blossom Mountain. So I'm on top of this huge mountain up here, and it takes forever for me to get to my house. Like, if I'm trying to drive uphill, with a stick shift, I would lose my shit, yo. And it's just like the terrain here is very hilly. It's it's not quite what San Francisco is, but like trying to drive a stick shift out here, ain't nobody trying to deal with that. And for the most part, people are trying to be as efficient as possible when driving. Like the only people that really got the stick shifts and the manuals are the dudes with the skylines and the dudes that are out here racing. There's some car enthusiasts out here in Japan. Like that Tokyo drift shit is real. It's like who was talking about it now? I think that's D. Do they have a lot of drifting events? And have I been to any? No, I haven't been to any myself. My coworker he's a drifter, not a thrifter, drifter. And he just got his car. What is it? It's like a RX-3, and the Skyline is what most people try to get their hands on out here. And sometimes if I'm out here long enough, you guys can hear the motorcycles and the cars like speeding by, and it will go on for like hours on end. You can hear them racing and drifting. Those events are crazy out here. When you go to Tokyo, like when you're just like out in Shibuya Crossing, you'll see those cars everywhere. So yeah, that culture is heavy out here, man. They love their cars, but that would be like the only times you're really gonna see like the manual shifts. Other than that, everything is auto. Folks was driving the hell out of them manuals on the wrong side of the road over in the UK. Apparently, they are better on gas, and the gas is expensive, and it's expensive out here too. It's pretty much the same thing, but most of the cars out here are going to be like the K cars. So they're just these little tiny cars that are like super fuel efficient. And they've been doing a lot to kind of make cars more fuel efficient out here. Japan is kind of weird because just in general, they would be like either trapped in the 80s and 90s with their technology, or they'll be like in the future. And it's not much in between. And one thing that they're really good about is like their fuel efficiency with the cars, and because they have to be, because being such a little tiny island and everything is imported, like the gas is really expensive. So y'all know about the Shinkansen, the bullet train, and really here, like you don't necessarily